I think we're here. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Billy.
Hello, hello, Billy. All right. Well, hello. We're just gonna wait a little bit, let some more people come in. Let us know if you're here in the chat, which is over here, I believe, or there. I don't know. And we'll get calls going. We're talking about Jim Henson today, and yeah, a little bit. I saw Joe had a beard, so I had to grow one too. Joe's beard looks good.
In the BFF.
Yeah, I like the beard. Oh, before we get started, Joe, are you available Thursday to do season 2 of the game that we were playing and reprise your cyborg that you got to play once? Anywho, gonna wait for a few more people. I wish we still had the feature where we could show some other videos and stuff, but alas, we can't. Bill, I was half tempted to shave it into a Doctor Strange beard just to mess with you. But for anyone who may be joining us and you might not know what the hell this is, we're like a call-in pop culture podcast thing. I don't. We started a new genre. We just haven't named it yet, and that's what we do. And tonight we're talking about Muppets and other Jim Henson stuff. So if you would like to join the conversation, just let us know. And
Yes, we can get started. We got people here.
Yeah, we can get started. We've gone down to 1 viewer somehow.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't know what this thing is. I don't trust it.
I don't think that's true.
Well, who would like to go first?
Well, let's do the intro first.
Oh, okay.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Odd Shape Panel. My name is Kimber.
I'm Tom.
And tonight we are going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is Jim Henson. Of course, his Muppets and his amazing creature studio and everything that Henson encompasses. We are doing that tonight because HBO is actually remastering Fraggle Rock and releasing that, so we figured that would be an appropriate time to talk about Henson. Anything else interesting we should?
About me? If you want to talk to us outside of tonight, you can tweet us or find us at Facebook at Odd Shaped Panel. If you want to talk to the lovely Kimber Barrett, you can tweet her at
SJ Plus Junkie.
And that's with an IE, not with a Y.
And I think that's about it, right?
That's about it.
I guess it's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. I guess it's time to get things started on OSP tonight.
Well, moving right along. See what I did there? Who would like to go first? I guess Billy was here first. We got some scratchy throats and stuff going on.
Yeah,
so
we have little weather changes.
It might not be that we sound robotic. It might be that we just sound sick.
You have to call Billy.
I will. It's time to call Billy. It's time to call him now.
So, yeah, another reminder, we do have that Halloween episode coming up. That's going to be on a Friday and not a Monday, the 28th, I believe. And I'm still accepting questions for the Halloween special if you guys have any spooky or Halloween-themed questions.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Hey, Billy.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going all right. If you grew that Doctor Strange beard, I would have left.
Would have left?
Yeah, I would have left the show because no, I wouldn't.
People.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Muppets.
I'm just playing with my levels real quick. All right, go ahead and talk.
Said, let's talk about the Muppet Show with special guest Steve Martin. Yay!
Yo, if Steve Martin just walked up. from around the corner, I would have lost it.
That would have been awesome if I could just snap my fingers and then Steve Martin was there. But that's usually what I do when doing Kermit the Frog. Hello.
Who do you think would win in a Battle of the Banjos?
Damn. That's a good question. I don't know, probably Kermit. Just barely.
The themed episode, but let's give Steve Martin his due.
It's Kermit.
He has opposable thumbs.
No, it's Kermit.
And
well, Kermit's naked. So I mean that's
a different contest.
Well, he's a frog, and he's somehow playing a banjo. That's amazing.
It's true.
Touche.
You just revel in that fact.
Got you.
You got me.
All right.
For once.
I guess we should probably ask a question, huh?
Yeah.
So, the lovely Delisha at Delisha Renee asked us, who is your favorite Muppet and why?
Well, first I would want to give a shout out because this was very tough because I love the Muppets as well. And it was my second choice was Big Bird, and that's just because I grew up with Sesame Street like a lot of people, and Big Bird was my favorite on there. But I would like to say the best Muppet for me is also from Sesame Street, and that is Elmo. Elmo likes the Yucca Elmo. Elmo likes Dorothy and Tom and Kimber. No.
Trying to secure.
I love Elmo just because he's that one excited kid that just loves everything, and he just can't wait to see learn or meet somebody new, and also say hi to Mr. Noodle. Hi.
Are under the age of 7.
Yeah. So.
I'm not judging you. I'm just making
a
statement.
But I love Elmo just because he's the kind of guy that he'll put a smile on your face. Like you could be having a bad day, and then he'll just ask what's wrong. I mean, granted, a lot of Sesame Street characters will do that, but there's just something really appealing about Elmo's energy, or unique energy.
Yeah, I had an uncle, and he used to go skydiving all the time until he literally couldn't anymore.
Oh.
And I had this video, and I'll always remember it, that, those Tickle Me Elmos? He went and jumped out of an airplane with the Elmo, and it was like the funniest thing in the world.
That's awesome.
Favorite Muppets? Or Muppet? Well, you can't pick one without picking both of them.
Yeah.
And that's Statler and Waldorf. I can never I always screw up their names, so I have to read it. But right away, secretly, that's why I like Mystery Science Theater 3000 so much. It's making fun of what's in front of them. When they're Muppets Christmas Carol, I thought that was Michael Caine.
Well, I am picking Kermit the Frog, of course. I have to pick him. He's always been my favorite for lots of reasons. Do I really even have to say it? He's Kermit. Player, which we just discussed. I have a big giant tattoo of Kermit, which I just posted a picture on Twitter and pinned it. You can check it out there. My friend Amy Carolou, I'm actually rocking her shirt right now, tattooed that Kermit on me. It's really awesome. It's probably one of my favorite tattoos. Dude, I love Kermit. I do have to give out a runner-up position to Uncle Deadly. I love that puppet. I feel like if he is not based on Vincent Price, then he was had to have been created to complement Vincent Price on his Muppet episodes, because he is so perfect with him.
It's funny because we are watching old Muppet clips and stuff, and we have the Vincent Price Muppet Show, and Deadly's on that one, And then he comes back when Kermit is guest hosting Johnny Carson's Late Night, and Vincent Price is on that as a guest, and Deadly comes out, and they said that he hasn't been out since the looks, and I feel like it is for sure, the way he corresponds with how Vincent shows up.
Even without Vincent Price,
Oh, yeah.
like in the Jason Segel Muppet movie, which I'm a big fan of, I really liked Deadly because he was kind of witting bad guy. Like,
are we the bad guys?
Yeah, like they, like, and then he has his moment where he's like, just because I speak in a ominous British accent, I don't have to be the bad guy, and he turns it around. Hilarious, like, spooky character.
And then the most recent Muppets, the one that was like The Office, he was like best friend who, like, I don't know, he was great. He was like the fashionably knowledgeable stir.
You gotta love Uncle Deadly. All right, so to the next question. The lovely Ashley at that Mrs. Davis asked, what is the best Henson movie not featuring the Muppets?
This is very hard because I've only really seen one, and I love it because I have yet to see The Dark Crystal, and I hear it's amazing. But hey, it's on my list, and I'm gonna do it. I'll tweet it out when I do. And it's Labyrinth, of course. I mean, all those puppets are freaky. Like, if you're a little kid, you're gonna freak out, and they made a baby cry, and I'm pretty sure that was just the puppets. But I mean, it's an innocent enough film, but people really don't understand how hard it is to actually work with the Muppets. Like, I have a friend who got to hold the Gonzo puppet, and he's like, it's a little more complicated than it looks. I mean, it's super cool and everything, but you got to do certain things if you want to achieve certain things. That's about as vague as I can put it, but it's very hard to do. And the amount of work that they put in Labyrinth, aside from just being a fun adventure movie and teenage Jennifer Connelly, and of course Bowie and the Bulge, it just really helps and really transports you into that world. So yeah, Labyrinth.
Who is your favorite creature that they did for Labyrinth?
Probably Odor, or not Odor, but it's the big guy. I forget his name.
Ludo.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. I'm thinking Hodor. Hold the door.
Ludo is probably.
Ludo's just so huge. I want to know how they did it. Like, Sir Didymus is also pretty awesome, just because he's also got his trusty
Ambrose.
Yep. I mean, they're all awesome, but I just really want to know how Ludo was, how they handled it, because I know how they handled a lot of them, but I, for whatever reason, just don't know how they operated Ludo, and he's a huge thing too.
Yeah, Labyrinth was also my pick. That's a movie that I've been watching for basically my whole life. It came out the year I was born. And I love Ludo too. He would probably be my second pick, but I really love Hoggle. Hoggle's personality, like when you first meet him and he's like spraying the fairies and she's all like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then she tries to help the fairy and it bites her. Like, I love that. Even like the scene where he's like peeing or whatever, like, I just think it's so funny to have like this rude, like, shitty like character, but in the end he is genuinely like trying to help her, even though it didn't even like start out that way. He's almost like the he like pulls a Jorah Mormont move where he betrays her and then becomes like.
I was thinking like Tyrion crossing the Narrow Sea, but either
I can't
way.
compare Tyrion to Hoggle personally.
Throw Tom into the pit of eternal stench.
While we're on
that
the topic of
blasphemy.
They do large scale puppets, like you said, but they had the tiny worm family.
I love that worm.
And then the
plants.
the hand chasm. I don't know what
Like that
thing's called.
cave of hands when she picks the wrong door.
It reminds me of why like there's certain aspects of Sesame Street that
hands.
in Sesame Street are creepy, and so like I always make the correlation between the two. But my pick is the Dark Crystal, and Billy, I agree. You should see it.
No, I'm gonna see it. I mean, there's no question. I have to.
Now, I think like some of the charm of most of the Muppet movies, well, all of the Muppet movies, is that they're working with humans. Like Muppets take Manhattan. All the cameos that they do. They have it, but in Dark Crystal there are no people, and I think that's what sets it apart from the other ones is that they rely solely on the creatures. And what an amazing, like not only an amazing story, like I don't want to say too much because even though it's such an old movie, like it still is an enjoyable watch. But the design, this guy, I did this, me.
Agra is awesome. It's definitely creepier than Labyrinth is.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more of an adult tone than Labyrinth does. Even the good guy characters are creepy to me in Dark Crystal. Like they're supposed to be the good guys and they're supposed to have like soft features, but they are kind of like way. But Dark Crystal is amazing, and it has like some of the most unique creatures I think that Henson Creature Shop ever did. Still, of course, so iconic now.
You want to talk about giant puppets? They have some like weird like soldier puppets in that one that are huge, like insectoid things, and those things are big in there. There's 2 people in those, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, they kind of move like weird too. It's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, Dark Crystal is amazing. Questions for? You want to split it up and then?
No, let's do all of the questions just in case, like, if we get a bunch of people jump in, yeah, we don't get behind.
All right, and if anybody else comes in, please go ahead and let us know that you're here if you want to get on the conversation. Because right now I only have Billy, Joe, and Ashley on the list. You guys. So, question number 3 is a question I wanted to know, and that is, what is your favorite Henson musical number?
This is also very hard because Jim Henson has created a lot of awesome music. Hey, Mavis.
She's a little much.
Yeah, I had to go with the obvious answer. It's really the one that everyone should think of, and that's the Rainbow Connection. I mean, Jim Henson was Kermit the Frog, and he had to do it. And I believe Tom mentioned this last episode, but he had to be in the water at a certain point or like at a certain height and stuff, and also couldn't be seen. It was very complicated. I looked into it, and yeah, it took a lot of skill because you gotta be, it's like playing the drums. You gotta be, you could be moving one hand, but you could be moving like legs at the same time. You gotta work at, you gotta work different limbs, and well, he's also playing a banjo, so it's also just a good song. I mean, it has a good message. It's catchy, and a lot of people feel sentimental towards it. What's up?
We're trying to fit. The camera just keeps jumping back and forth between us and you, and we're trying to figure out why it's doing that.
Probably because I'm making noise.
But I fully agree with you about the Rainbow Connection. That's the scene I got done as a tattoo. For many reasons, I love that song. It's so beautiful. It's actually my favorite song. Yeah, it's hard to argue that. I'm gonna definitely see what Tom has to say, and then I might mention some other ones just out of them needing to get mentioned. But let's see, what's Tom's choice?
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Then go on for like whatever.
Ashley, does it still sound glitchy, or were you just Tom's mumbling sounded glitchy? We're not gonna be able to hear him now.
No, it's sounding like this, or it's sounding a little glitchy now. Yeah. Still cool.
All right, last time we tried this, we ended up having to make a new room. So if that's the case, I will send you the link in the chat, guys.
Had to happen with me. I see.
Any better? No?
Actually, kinda.
Really?
Yeah, a little.
Billy sounds fine.
I do. Cool.
Let me try to do that. I wonder if there's a way that I can make you something.
I would love to figure that out. We couldn't get that last time.
Alright, so maybe if I make him a moderator, that's what I'll do. Alright, let's try this. Sorry, everyone.
All 5 of you.
Yeah. Trying to message Candace and Jason to see where they're at.
Oh, I guess so. It's my show now. So, hey everyone. Feel free to call in. Oh, wait. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, Tom and Kimber are just trying to figure stuff out because they sound all robotic and apocalypse-like. So, yeah, just stay in with us.
Okay, so I would have him say some of that rainbow and stuff because it was doing that weird.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, sure. Oh.
So how's it sound? Better?
Yeah, actually it does.
Candace and Jason will be here soon.
Okay, cool. Candace and Jason will be joining us soon. So that worked. That's cool.
Yep.
So I might just do that each time in case. So Billy's been promoted to moderator, everyone. Congrats, Billy.
Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid.
With great power comes great responsibility, Billy. Hold on. With great power comes great responsibility. And we're back. All right.
Yeah.
So
And now I'm just.
did you want to repeat what you had to say about Rainbow Connection real quick, just because the camera just kept going back and forth and.
Okay. Yeah. Rainbow Connection is awesome because not only did it take a great amount of skill on Jim Henson's part, because not only is he doing Kermit, he's also doing the puppeteering, and puppeteering is very hard. It, like I said, it's like playing the drums, where you gotta, each limb has to have like its own beat. Like I said, like you could be moving an arm, but like you gotta sway the legs as well. And he had to do it from a certain height and not be seen as well. It's also just a great song. It teaches a good lesson, and really, when you think of the Muppets and get sentimental, that's the song you think of.
For anyone who doesn't know what Billy's talking about when he's saying that he had to be a certain like height and everything like that, Jim Henson literally had to build a like sphere underwater that he could put his arms through, a submersible that pumped oxygen in, and then worked hours in it all day. So the great thing I feel about the Henson is that they always challenged themselves. Like when they saw something and they wanted it done, they said like, because that was the only way Henson imagined that scene. So they had to make it work. And I think that's what Henson is like about, ingenuity. And they had one season of that Jim Henson Creature Shop show on Sci-Fi, and that was pretty much the theme of the season, was just like using what you know and what you have to just get better and better and better.
And it's amazing the respect that people have for the Henson Creature Shop. There were people who were on that show trying to get a job for the Creature Shop that were working at Disney World as the, what do they call, Imagineers, which is pretty crazy, like if you think about it. It's impressive.
So yeah. All right.
We're doing Phenomena.
Well, I mean, there's not much more to say. Like, yes, all of the Muppet songs are great. Like, I don't think there is a bad Muppet song, but the one that just makes me want to like be as goofy as hell, and I feel like that's what the Muppets are about. Is Phenomena, and you don't even need to be good at singing to sing it.
You don't even have to be good at singing.
Seriously, you just gotta be able to yell Phenomena. Mamama. See, I can't even say it correctly.
Phenomena. Do, do.
Let's do it again. Mamma. Do 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 do. Mamma. Our neighbors are gonna hate us by the end of this thing, and now I'm singing Aladdin songs.
Oh Jesus!
Well, I have some favorites too. Aside from the Rainbow Connection, which is my favorite song of all time and is amazing and perfect in every way. I also really love, and he was talking about the Muppet Christmas Carol. One More Sleep Till Christmas is a song that Kermit sings in that movie, and I listen to it every year. I watch that movie every year, and the people who are friends with me on Facebook will see me post that song every year on Christmas Eve. It's a tradition for me. That's like, I'm not a religious person, but I like holidays in general. I'm a festive person. And nothing gets me like more in the Christmas spirit than watching the Muppets Christmas Carol. And that song in particular has like a place in my heart. Other Muppet musical routines?
Can I embarrass you real quick?
Why?
So, when me and Kimber first started dating, this is how much she loves Rainbow Connection. We made each other mixtapes, and Rainbow Connection was the first song on the thing. So I'm like, oh, well, this is what I'm in for. And she's been obsessed with Kermit even more ever since.
And it's
I
been
also
going
like,
strong ever since.
That Jason Segel Muppet movie, that Muppet or a Man song that they did, Brett McKenzie from Flight of the Conchords actually wrote a lot of that soundtrack, and that one in particular, he won like a Grammy or something.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, an Oscar. That's fucking crazy and awesome. And I really liked that whole routine, how they did, like, they took his puppet brother, and then he looked in the mirror, and he was a person, and he was Jim Parsons, the dude who plays Sheldon on Big Bang Theory, which was perfect for his little character. And then the Jason Segel puppet that they did when he looked in the mirror was amazing. I think that movie really came from like a place of love in Jason Segel's heart. Like, that dude just clearly loves Muppets. He's like has a segment where he's singing the Muppet song in amidst his depression and forgetting Sarah Marshall, and it's like a sad rendition of it, and it's hilarious. And when he did that, him being one of my favorite actors and like writing that movie and starring in that movie was a huge deal for me, because that's like what I would do if I had star power. And to see Jason Segel do it and for it to be so great was like a really awesome moment for me as a fan. So I definitely have to shout out Muppet or a Man.
Yeah, I'm now thinking of the vampire puppet musical that he wrote.
Oh, I was thinking about that. Next question.
Yeah, because I can see what you're saying with him loving the Muppets that much, and it's touched a lot of people's lives. And well, unfortunately, not my mom. She's the only person I know that does not like the Muppets for whatever reason. I don't know, but hey, can't like everything. So
more for us. Us.
Well, this is unconventional, but since you did that and it's such a smooth segue, let's just go straight to the fourth question, and I'm going to answer it first because you just said my answer.
Ooh.
What is your favorite Henson creature that is not in a Henson movie? Well, the puppets in the Dracula musical, in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, are Henson puppets that he got done for the movie, obviously out of a love for the Muppets and Jim Henson. And they're freaking awesome. I love that Dracula musical. And that actually, again, is from a movie that Jason Segel wrote. And he took that from his own life because he was writing a Dracula puppet musical in his free time. And he talked, I think, to Judd Apatow, who was a producer of the movie, about it. And they thought it was like hilarious to maybe put into his character because he was kind of like a struggling artist dealing with depression after his breakup and stuff.
And
so it's funny for him to be doing like this weird puppet musical, but that was like super charming, really funny. Like, I loved his Dracula voice and the songs that he wrote. Like, the song he wrote, it's hilarious. Yeah. it's like perfect in every way. Again, like just like a love letter to Henson from a true fan. So, yeah. Did you want to tell us your answer, Billy?
Yeah, he's right behind you. He's that little green guy right there.
Oh, this guy?
No.
Yeah, of course. It is, of course, Jedi Master Yoda, the greatest Jedi that ever lived. And yeah, I did not know it was Jim Henson until I watched a Star Wars documentary. And it's like a 3-hour documentary. It's called Empire Dreams. Watch it. Definitely recommend it. And what's interesting is Frank Oz, who is like one of the head guys at the not just in puppeteering, but like in the Jim Henson Creature Shop and everything. He was the voice of Yoda, and he was also the puppeteer. I mean, he's also the voice of Miss Piggy, which I find hilarious. Mm-hmm. But like, they had to build like a huge section just for Oz, and the biggest problem they had was that they couldn't hear each other. So it was literally just Mark Hamill, all this crazy swamp, this crazy giant swamp set, and like there was like snakes and bugs and everything just to make it like really like, you know, authentic. And this guy holding a little green puppet. And they couldn't.
I sure had to be hard in his hut.
Oh yeah, it was
I'm sure
definitely hard.
Hiding spots, and because you think about the way his hut was set up.
Yeah,
that's why his movement is like that, because it's in there's like very specific spots and holes. But hey, Mavis, don't hurt Yoda.
Maybe stop.
Don't hurt me. You will not.
Bit more.
I can't get her. She's
strong with the Force. She is.
long in the nails. She's
caught up on the couch.
No. I love Yoda because he will. Oh no, Tom. No. Get him, Yoda.
Got him.
I love that Muppet. No, but I love Yoda because while I am primarily a Sith, that's just how life has gone. Yoda always has words of wisdom, and like he makes the Force just so interesting and magical. I mean, this is before Episode 1 ruined that, but
I do want to say they're talking in the chat, and I do think this is the elephant in the room. How did it make you feel when like they got rid of kind of like puppet Yoda, and when they came back, like they CGI'd the crap out of him, and now he's kind of a CGI character?
Huh. Well, I have mixed feelings about it because I did not like the puppet that they used in Episode 1. I did not like it. I liked the one that they used in Empire, of course. I thought that was the best. You know, all the little features on him, like his wrinkles are like Einstein because he wanted Stuart Gordon, who was the designer, wanted him to be smart and wise beyond his years, which, well, he's 900 years old, but still. I have really mixed feelings about it. I mean, there are some points where he looks good, but other points where he just looks too fluid, and the puppet it totally goes against what Yoda's character is that you don't need a lightsaber to be a badass Jedi. You could just use the Force, and the knowledge of the Force is better than all of that. But apparently in Episode 2, where, I mean, granted, Yoda does kick ass.
Throw the Empire throw the Senate at Palpatine?
Yeah, I mean, he's just flipping around and he's fighting two old men, one of which is Sir Christopher Lee. And
I think if it was a story that took place like when maybe Yoda was first learning to be a Jedi or something like that, it would make sense for him. But he is hundreds and hundreds of years old at this point, and I understand how his fighting ability can like wane from like maybe 15 years of, you know what I mean?
My big thing is that he looked so different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have done a better job at making it look like a smoother version of the puppet, but it doesn't look like anything like the damn puppet at all.
And maybe if they used, like, because they didn't use a puppet at all, it was straight up CGI, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure.
But I mean, you know.
But if they did the puppet on the close scenes, and then for the action scenes that did the CGI,
yeah, like just when they needed it, you know.
But they relied so much on. But that was with everything. All the droids are CGI.
Well, I would have liked. I like anything better when it's practical makeup. If Jar Jar was practical makeup, I would like him better. That's just you know, I cried when I saw Force Awakens just because I saw puppets and real sets and like real practical anything is so like, to me, like, that's at the heart of what Star Wars is. Like, the original trilogy, that's what makes it feel like Star Wars. And that was a huge part of what stripped it away. And you get, like, it's a Star Wars type story, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars because it doesn't have the same production value as Star Wars did. And yeah, you might say that it has better production value, but I don't think that's it. I think you totally lose the soul of everything that made Star Wars great when you totally, like, just clean it up too much.
If they redid Indiana Jones and did the ball as CGI, like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just it has weight to it when you can see like the dust on it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain things.
It's the same thing with the Lord of the Rings movies and
the
Hobbit.
That's my biggest.
That's exactly the same thing.
Well, that's the big thing. Like in Jurassic Park, they use the giant ass head for the T-Rex, but they also use CGI. It's supposed to create the illusion.
Same thing with Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Well, that's why Jurassic Park will look perfect forever. Like, Jurassic Park still looks great, and
like we know the CG. We know what the CG parts are just because we've gotten so used to it. But the practical effects, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm sorry to go on this little tangent, but I'm so sick of Hollywood using CGI fake blood. What happened to the squibs? I mean, it's not that hard to make. They're really cheap, too. And they actually, especially with, like, higher caliber bullets, it'll make sense. Like, from not only a realistic standpoint, but, you know, when something's really there, it just helps. But I just want to get into really quick why I also picked Yoda, just because, I mean, his quotes, like, do or do not, there is no try, size matters not, judge me by my size, do you. The way his approach to everything is just so smart, and you would not expect it from this 3-foot little green man who, like, when you first see him, you're like, yeah, this is a Jim Henson kind of over-the-top thing. But then he suddenly is like, no, I'm the master, and I'll show you why. And, like, businessmen have do or do not, there is no try, like, as motivation. I know a couple of them, too. And they're like, yeah, gets me through the day sometimes.
I like his action line right before he fights the Empire, and he's like, try if you can, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but, like, it was his little badass line. But this is what I'm talking about, because we keep talking about, you know, how, like, the Jurassic Park compared to Jurassic World, and Hobbit compared to Lord of the Rings. It's losing its practicality, and that's a little bit of what I'm worried about with the new Harry Potter franchise. We talked about it, I think, when we did Welcome Back, Potter. I think that was the last episode. So I won't get too into it. But to give you an idea, Jim Henson Creature Shop worked on Sorcerer's Stone. Like, they did the practical creatures for Harry Potter. So, like, that's just, again, like, some sort of, like, I don't want to say the word magic, but, like, I hope it doesn't lose that magic. I said it. But I think that's all 4 questions. Oh, wait, I didn't answer mine.
Yeah, you didn't answer.
Okay. So, Jim Henson, when you look at the credentials, the Creature Shop, they are known for doing creature design and visual design. And if you look, some of their visual design stuff will surprise you. But the biggest one that got me, and one of my favorite parts of the Nolan trilogy, is all the Scarecrow visualizations. And Jim Henson's shop worked on all that. So that black matted Batman with the ooze coming out, that was all, like, anything that was related to Scarecrow, Jim Henson had. And I think that's one of, like, we talk about all the time, like, as much as I love Dark Knight, Batman Begins was a solid movie.
I think it's better, personally.
Yeah. I mean, Batman was better in it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great that they went with a traditional villain, but then they
And a not played out villain.
yeah, well, it got played out by the time Dark Knight Rises came out, but because everyone works for Ra's al Ghul.
Everyone works, of course.
Born to Ra's al Ghul's house.
Merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. No, it's not.
I was born of OSP. All right, so I'm going to hang up on you, Billy.
Well, thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, it was a segue.
No, it's a good segue. Everybody's been looking at my ugly face all night. Let's get somebody else, like Jason or the Ashley and Joe.
Yeah, I think they're up next. And then is Jason going to get on cam tonight? Who knows? We'll find out. Stay tuned. But thanks, Billy. You're always a pleasure.
All right, peace.
Gotta make the noise. All right. Well, wasn't that interesting? That was Billy. Yeah, that was Billy. Let me call Ashley. Ashley, I'm calling you on yours, right?
So tell Jason Sheely I have him on the list after Candace and Jason.
Yeah, and Jason's on the list now because he didn't already answer me. Candace is in here. Hello, Candace. Ashley, I feel like I need sitcom music. Don't we all need sitcom music?
Oh, he can't tonight.
We tried to.
It's gonna be a small night. Did you call Ashley?
Yeah, she should be having an invitation on the way, and if not, I will fix it.
Oh, hey,
Hello.
what's up, guys?
Not much.
Not much.
Y'all want to talk about some Muppets?
Sure.
Mm.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, Janine's in here. Hey, Janine. Nice. So our first question comes from the lovely Delisha Renee. She called, if it wasn't last time, it was the time before. Really nice. She asked, who is your favorite Muppet and why?
I like Gonzo. He's my favorite because he's Gonzo. I don't know any other way to describe it. He's crazy, and Muppet Babies or the movies or any of the Muppet television, it's just so weird and irreverent and goofy. And no matter what anyone says or does, he's just always going to be Gonzo.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to care that he's weird. He's just like, I'm going to be myself, obsessed with my chicken ladies.
And it's not even that he realizes it. I don't think he has any inkling of to be any other kind of person other than himself. So
Yeah, I love Gonzo too. Tom's talking about Muppets in Space. I'm sure, of course, they've seen Muppets in Space. You guys seen that one, right?
the pigs in space.
The
The
Muppets in Space, the like Gonzo backstory space one.
I have not.
I don't think so, no.
That's basically the Gonzo movie. You guys got to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, nice.
We'll need to.
Yeah, I was going to watch a bunch of Muppet stuff this weekend, but apparently nothing that I could find was on Netflix, and I was so sad.
Aw. More Muppets. We need more Muppets.
Yes.
We got to start a BOSP show because Ache panel.
Yeah, right.
We'll start talking about all the stuff that y'all talked about. Billy brought up a great point. Da-da-da.
Yeah, I like Gonzo too. I always like that. That tattoo I have is on the back of my leg, and if I had thought more about things, I wish that it was on my arm, the Kermit, and I would have totally done my lower arm like Gonzo getting shot out of a cannon. Like my life would be so happy if I had that. I love Gonzo, probably with like chickens around him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gonzo
The
I-
chicken.
I just want a shirt of Gonzo surrounded by chickens, and it says like "Pimpin' Ain't Easy."
Nice.
I don't think the Muppets would approve of that. You'd have to get that on like Etsy or something. You'd have to get Janine to make that for you.
Chick magnet, right?
Yeah,
Chick
chick, there you
magnet,
go. That
there
would
you
be
go.
more appropriate. Could wear that to work. Not really.
What about you, Ashley?
It's so hard to choose just one Muppet because they're all so wonderful. Like I love Kermit. He's so awesome. And I feel like in the Muppet Show, like he's kind of like put upon because he's the producer. of that show, and everything is always going wrong. But if I had to choose just one favorite, it would be Big Bird, because I love how he's like for the little kids that watch Sesame Street, like he's just one of them. He doesn't know everything either, and he has a lot of questions. And so the adults on the show are happy to, answer those things for him and, help, teach lessons to the audience. And I think it's just like a very sweet character, and I think I just love him so much.
He's the relatable persona.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom was saying off screen here that these characters are great because they're almost like your imaginary friends. But
And Big Bird, Big Bird has an imaginary friend.
Yeah, Snuffleupagus.
And Snuffy is awesome.
And yeah. I really love the Follow That Bird movie growing up, and when he's trying to find his family, but really his family was there all along.
For sure.
Aww.
Yeah, Big Bird is a big one as well, like a really big, impressive costume that they do.
Oh,
and
yes.
I love the Henson Studios' use of feathers on their puppets, too. Really beautiful. And
Yep.
Big Bird's like a great example of that. Like, it doesn't always have to be like fun fur. They use a lot of feathers, and it's gorgeous.
But sometimes it's weird to see like the different cultural versions of Big Bird and how they look slightly different. Like I know for the Hispanic one, I think in Mexico, Plazo Sesamo, he's green. And I just remember seeing that as not like a kid, but like a little older. It's like, wait, why is their Big Bird green? Like, why isn't yellow good enough? I'm sure they probably have some kind of reasoning behind that, but it's just like, oh, because they have the Sesame Streets in like a lot of different cultures, and they have the puppets that are geared towards whatever issues that they want to teach. And what I really just love about Sesame Street is like they workshop all of those shows to make sure that they're appropriate for their preschool audience. And I know there was like one episode that I don't think they've ever done an episode about divorce, because like it was like too painful for the kids, and they haven't found like the way to approach that. But they always want to make sure that their shows are, educational. And I don't know how things have changed since they've gone to HBO, but I just think that's a really good show for children.
Educational and progressive. Like
yes.
I think last year, maybe the year before, I think one of the Muppets had two moms.
Yep.
They'll never confirm that Bert and Ernie are an item because they have their Muppets and they don't feel like they have sexuality. That they've been on record on that. But as far as representing humans and like putting out good vibes, they are solid on that all the time. And that's just who Henson was.
Yeah, and then also cultural diversity, because a lot of kids probably don't realize it, but Bert and Ernie are both like members of the Hispanic community. I can't remember exactly like ethnicity wise, but they always had like a great group of diverse characters. It wasn't just like here's all these like one culture. It's all the cultures coming together, because that's New York too. Yep. Everybody's there.
And I don't remember the names of the human characters, unfortunately, but they've always had like different members of race like represented in the cast.
Yeah. And then even like I remember when one of the human characters that had been there for a long time, and he passed away, and they included that in the show, and like Big Bird's like, hey, where is he? And it's like, okay, now we have to explain this very complicated topic, but they again they make sure that those things will be appropriate for children. So they handled it well, because that's a real life issue.
Yeah. If you watch Jim Henson's memorial, like Big Bird sings a song, like
heart-wrenching.
But they include everything, because like it's like they even did a memorial on the Muppet Show. They were celebrating Jim Henson's life, and they're like, "Who's Jim Henson?" And they're like, "Wait, I recognize him. He was one of those guys who's always down there." And they're like, "Always down there." And they look down, and they're like, "All right, we're getting creeped out now." And they looked up. It was great because it was acknowledging the fact that they were Muppets and that they were created by Jim Henson. But they were included in celebrating him, which is just the best way you could do something.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny because with this question with Muppets, I didn't even think of like going Sesame Street, but if we're going to go Sesame Street, I also have to give a shout out to the Count, because he's freaking awesome.
I love the Count. He always has to count things, and his songs are always so fun. And Kermit was on Sesame Street too, but in the beginning. There's like a little sweet little clip of him and like a little girl talking, and it's like, "Can I give you a hug?" It's like, "Of course."
Nice.
Yeah, we gotta move. But if we're going Sesame Street, Oscar the Grouch always needs a shout out. But do not watch his movie; it is not good.
I think I saw that with my niece, and just to kind of one more point about that, it represents everybody. There's always going to be people like that in the world too that you're going to run into that have an attitude, and
They're not necessarily bad people. They got an attitude.
Yeah.
so it kind of teaches you to deal with all kinds of people.
For sure. All right, I know Kimber wants to get moving. So, Ashley, you asked, what is the best Henson movie not featuring the Muppets?
I think we both have the same answer.
Is it Labyrinth?
Oh, no.
Okay,
no, never mind.
So you don't.
I see. You make me look dumb.
No, but you started?
Yes, when I wrote that question, that's the one I had in mind, Labyrinth. That movie is just such a great coming of age story for young girls that are like really into fantasy and all that kind of stuff, and realizing that like you can still have fun, but you do have to grow up and take responsibility, and you just can't run away to a dreamland and escape your problems. So, and then I saw the creature work in that movie is just so beautiful too, with all the different goblins and the different creatures.
Yeah, no, that movie's beautiful. It's a classic. Again, that's another one. That movie's as old as I am. It's 30 years old, and it freaking looks amazing. Every time you watch it, it's gonna look amazing because Henson, like, is a stamp of quality. For it to have Henson's Creature Shop working on it, it's gonna be beautiful. Like, even I know you guys like Hitchhiker's Guide, and not a lot of people loved that movie, but Henson did those creatures for the Hitchhiker's Guide movie, and even if you didn't like how that movie went, you have to say
looked really good,
beautiful and very impressive. And again, I love their little robot they did with Alan Rickman's voice and stuff. Like, it's a stamp of approval for quality to have Henson work on something.
Yes. And I just love Hoggle, and then like the big like beast monster creature. I don't remember all the names off the top of my head, but like even like the doors that are talking, that like one of us always tells the truth and one of us always lies, and in the little just great creature work. And again, because it's practical, it holds up a lot better, even though it is 30 years old versus like what's that Ninja Turtles movie gonna look like in the next like 5 to 10 years with those CGI roid monsters?
Joe almost got so mad.
I wasn't talking about the good turtles, duh.
Because again, Henson did the original 90s Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And those things look freaking awesome. I'm surprised that Chad's in here to talk about that.
He said he's gonna be here.
But you cannot do CGI. It dates where CGI is at that point, But puppets are puppets, and they look as great as that puppet looks right then forever.
Which Turtles was my choice. Was going to be the first of the live action 90s plus movies. The first one is fantastic. Splinter and all four of the Turtles, they just looked fantastically amazing.
And they may not be Bebop and Rocksteady, but in Turtles 2,
Token Razor.
Yeah, Token Razor, they looked great.
They are frightening. Like, if the stigma that like they're replacing two of the most memorable turtle characters wasn't there, they would be like formidable movie monsters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love how each of the turtles, even though like he made all the creatures, he did like subtle things to them to make them look like distinct. Personality wise, Donnie looks a little different from Mikey. Like where Mikey's eyes are very like bright and like wide set. Like he's like full of wonder. Like Raph looks like a little bulkier and like has like much more of a scowl to him. And everyone just like has subtle differences so that, without the colors, like these are distinct, personalities versus when they did the puppetry, which was not Henson. And you can totally tell in the third movie, they all look like generic bad. And that movie does not hold up as well. And, and not just because the plot and story was bad, but because that puppetry does not look great in that third movie.
Yep. And I was going to say what you said, but I was trying to say it. you wouldn't stop. Like there's just little things like the way when Donnie like sits and he just like sighs, the way his eyebrows arch are distinct from the way any of the other turtles move their faces. And Mikey, like you said, Raph looks like he has a perpetual scowl. Mikey always looks kind of like he's smiling a little bit, just a little bit, just the natural set of his face. It's that little thing. And granted, I don't know how much of that is me imposing the already known personality of the turtles on those puppets or the handiwork of Henson's creations and such, but I'd imagine it's a little bit of both.
I think you have to be right because like I I think I have the Casey Jones Roth fight like permanently ingrained in my head, and like
Yes.
his scowl is so strong. And I don't even think they programmed Mikey to scowl because, like, you know what I mean? Like, they would have to set in those emotions and stuff, and there would be no reason to even program that. You know
That's
what I
because
mean?
Raph is the coolest guy.
He's
so-
cool but rude.
Give me a break.
And that is like one of the best scenes in any Turtles movie when they're having that fight and then he's parading around like an actual teenager probably would, like, I won, and then he gets beat down.
Yep.
I love that scene.
I also really enjoyed Casey Jones again. Elias Cotes is the best Casey Jones. But when he and Donnie are fixing up the truck, that's also just a really memorable scene of him just sitting behind the wheel messing with stuff while Casey is messing with the engine block. And say what you will about CGI interaction of characters, like whether it's animated like Roger Rabbit or computer animated like stuff in The Hobbit or Jungle Book or whatever. There's something to be said about the natural ability of the people in these suits to be able to have the body language of somebody that's just in their own skin kind of situation.
Not only that, it's important that we have people still doing this stuff and hopefully forever. You know what I mean? 'Cause, like, that was one of my biggest scares was that we just were going to lose this art.
Like, bless him, love him, but what Andy Serkis did kind of put a dent in the industry because he was so good at the mocap stuff that the rest of the movie industry was like, well, that's just totally the way to go. Just have the actor wear a funny suit with little white balls all over it, and we'll just layer him with CGI stuff. And
Well, you know how I feel about that. I feel like that does the movie an injustice, and it does Andy Serkis one because that guy is so fucking sorry. He's so bleeping good. I'll edit that. I'll bleep it for you, Ashley.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
he's so good that it just kind of like takes away from it. Like, let the guy be an actor. He has to act through so
Yeah, he's
much.
a good actor. Like, cause when we watched The Prestige not too long ago, I was like, oh, cool, Andy Serkis is actually in this movie, and sure, he didn't have like a whole lot to do, but it's like you actually get to see him in it when he's in what was he in Ultron?
Yeah.
He's not in, he's not a CGI character, and
Claw is easily like my second or third favorite part of that movie. Everything to do with him is he's just when he's taunting the kids when they show up, and then he's talking to Ultron and all that other good stuff. His ability to deliver lines is just amazing.
I agree. What is Kimber wants to know? What is your favorite Muppet musical number? Henson musical number.
I also love the Muppet Christmas Carol, and I like the song at the end, and I can't remember the title, but it's after his ordeal's done, and he's parading through the city, buying the goose and everything else, going to Cratchit's house and everything. Just that whole, it was just amazing. I love it. I love A Muppet Christmas Carol. It's my favorite Christmas Carol.
I got like goosebumps when you said it. I'm so corny, but I freaking.
that's probably one of the better versions of that story, as well.
The Jim Carrey one was really good too, but
that one creeped me out. And then there's a Mickey Mouse one that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think Muppet Christmas Carol is probably the best one.
And I would like to attribute a lot of that to my cocaine.
Yeah, how heartbreaking is Robin as Tiny Tim?
Don't.
See, like that's what I'm talking about. These are these tiny, like if they weren't anything, you would assume they're these kids' toys. You know what I mean? And they invoke so much emotion.
Well, and it's the little things like the way that you can shake your hand when you're being a Muppet, that it looks like an actual person shivering from the cold, and you're just kind of like, oh no, he's gonna die. Don't let Tiny Tim die.
That movie like starts with Rizzo the rat and Pepe the king prawn too, because I feel like they're, or no, it's Gonzo. You're right.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're the narrators. Gonzo and Rizzo are the well, Rizzo's listening, Gonzo's narrating.
But Pepe, where's Pepe? He's in that one too.
Pepe, I think, is just a character in the past. I think.
I think he's at Fezziwig's party.
Yeah, it's cool to start out with Rizzo because he's like one of those lesser characters that's really funny and kind of perfect for like that Christmas theme too.
The rats carry a lot of the comedy in the first act because they're pretty much present and doing everything, and they're the ones who are like being subjected or.
Well, there's
Kermit's
also like
the only not rat who works for him.
There's like something symbolic about like not even the rats have a scrap of food to eat, you know?
Yeah.
Or like they like are the ones freezing, and you would think like rats are the most resistant.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I never thought about that.
It's supposed to drive home how terrible Scrooge really is.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. I guess if I had to pick a musical number that's an actual like involves the actual Muppets, I like the moving right along song. I can't remember which Muppet movie it's from, but it's when Kermit and Fozzie are driving across the country, and they're just, that's their little road trip song, and it's just such a cute little song. And I love Fozzie. I feel bad for him because as someone who tries to crack jokes often and they don't ever land, I can relate to Fozzie a lot.
Yeah, I love Right Along, and my favorite band, Alkaline Trio, actually did, there was like a punk rock version of Muppet Songs album that came out called the Green Album, and my favorite band, Alkaline Trio, did Moving Right Along, and it is such a great version of that song. It's like easily the best one on that soundtrack, but it's cool that like even all these like modern bands are still doing tributes to the Muppets and these songs we grew up with. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think like OK Go does like the Muppet Show theme, and like if you watch the video for it, it's so OK Go that you almost think that Muppets had a direct influence on OK Go. Like it's so revealing when like people, like I guess that's kind of what this show is about. When people just like exude their passions and make it so obvious, it just makes everyone so much more relatable.
Yep.
And another cool sequence. It's not the best song, but the Chili Down Now from Labyrinth, like the technical stuff that they had to go through to get that, like the little fireys, because those puppets are like manned by like it's like people, and they had to wear like the black outfits, and they had to film it like on a black background to make it look as seamless as it does for something that's 30 years old. Like it's not everyone's favorite song, but just like the stuff that they had to do to get that to work and trial and error to make it work is a pretty cool sequence.
And that song is super catchy.
It is so catchy.
Is that the one with the heads up?
Yes.
No!
Yes, they had to do a lot of they had to do so many different takes and tests to get it just right, and like today they'd be like, well, let's just do whatever, like lazier filmmakers would have given up and gone the easy way out, but not Henson stuff. They always try to figure it out and make it work the best they can.
I wonder if that like influenced why I grew up loving horror so much. I'm like, yeah, none of this crap scares me. I watched Muppets when I was an infant, like I watched Labyrinth. That's way scarier than horror movie.
It's that moment when you realize when you watch Labyrinth when you're like 4, you're like, I was a baby not long ago.
I do want to bring one thing into light. Who's watching the Muppet Babies?
Well, Nanny.
I was.
No. I meant literally.
Like who's babysitting
Like who's in
them?
charge? Because
Well, Nanny would stop in every once in a while, but otherwise they're in that room or they're in the front yard.
I mean, I'm sure CPS would be called today, but back in the 80s.
Well, I mean, Tom, it was the 80s. We still had lawn
You're right,
yards.
it's a different time then.
And there were toddlers. The only one that was really a baby was Animal. And, I guess a 2-year-old can take care of an infant, whatever.
But, like...
Animal. That's the reason he's like that today.
Because they kept, like, dropping him.
He just neglecting him.
Radiator and then moved it to a drum set.
But, yeah.
I love Muppet Babies. That's probably
You're
where
welcome.
I think that's where I first learned about a lot of Star Wars stuff was probably Muppet Babies because they would had the rights, so they would open the closet and there's like a TIE fighter.
You asked that question.
Such a great show.
Yeah, I love Muppet Babies. Did both of you guys? Yeah, you both answered that one. Okay, one last question. Oh, more of my Muppet stuff.
Nice. Oh my God, I love the Bunsen and Beaker.
That is awesome.
Right?
I almost feel like I know that like it's because of the heights,
But
I
they should
almost feel like
switch
it's
them.
reversed
Yeah.
because R2 would be like beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I get it because of the height, but they're still really cool.
Yeah, those are from Disney World.
And I want to point out that these two are brother and sister. So Kermit was right all along not to be Intimus Piggy. Just saying that.
Nice. All right, so last question. The Jim Henson Creature Shop has made tons of amazing creatures. What is your favorite Henson puppet that is not from a Henson movie?
It harkens back to what I was talking about earlier, but Splinter. Splinter just like looks so real, and if I didn't know better, it was a gigantic humanoid rat. Because this, like where the fur ends and you see his like little rat hands, it just looks so uncomfortably creepy whenever he's like wiping like Raph's forehead or something like that at one point. It's just it's creepy in a good way. With our cat Atticus, small children mess with his view of reality, so it terrorizes him. Not because he's ever been terrorized by small children, but just because he looks at these small children and it screws up his perception of reality. That's what Splinter does. Yeah, it's just like he's used to adult-sized people, and then when like a toddler comes into the house, he's like, "What is that?" and runs away.
That's how I feel about children.
That's how Kimber feels when she sees a little child. She's like, ah!
No! The old man drank coffee.
What about you, Ashley?
I don't know. It's kind of, I guess, like a toss-up between Splinter and Yoda, like what Billy was talking about. Just I know y'all talked about it earlier, but like those CGI Yodas just look so horrible compared to the one from Empire Strikes Back, and even I think they kind of updated the puppet for Return of the Jedi, but I just love Yoda's so awesome.
Even the episode 1 puppet wasn't good.
I mean, it's odd because if you go and you look at Yoda and you like compare him like to all like to the Skeksis, to everything, Yoda is kind of like weak sauce in episode 1, but he has so much, like he exudes character.
Yeah.
Like I don't think his eyes move, but like it doesn't matter because he's supposed. And that was like, it's almost like it's but it's almost like it's intentional too, because like Lucas loves this thing where you come across this weird little creature who ends up being this smart like master, like a teacher. So by making him look a little bit more dopey in Empire, and then kind of making him more like serious and like learned in Return, I think that might have been intentional. That's really cool.
Like almost like he was trying to fool you. Like,
yeah, like with the wide eye, like oh.
Yeah, make him look like a crazy old hermit when in his introduction, but like once he's gone into teacher mode, he seriousness up. He sacks up and takes over.
Yeah, it's cool that Ashley picked teachers. Like both the characters are like wise teachers. What does that say?
Like when they do the seance in Ninja Turtles and they don't know that he is like really alive, and he's giving them those life lessons about like I will always love you. It's like, don't cry in the theater. Oh my God, they're so sad.
I'm not gonna lie, but like as an adult watching that movie again, I'm like, okay, so we're in a world where magic doesn't exist and Splinter isn't dead. So are they just on like LSD or something? Did they find like April's stash or Casey's stash?
Splinter's like, I'm trying to be a Force ghost with Yoda. Leave me alone.
So Star Wars and Ninja Turtles exist in the same universe, and they use the Force, and that's how they got Splinter.
E.T. exists in the same universe as Star Wars.
Henson is the common thread between all connections.
So he's Stan Lee.
He's like Jack Kirby. All right, you're right, Stan Lee. All right, Jack Kirby. Stan Lee, you're right.
Either one. Oh my
All right.
God, they're the same.
I think that's all four.
It is.
Awesome.
Well, all
Alrighty.
four.
Well, thank you guys. Now that we have a couple more people in the room, I'm going to announce again that our next OSP is going to be a Halloween special and costume party. If you guys are feeling so inclined, we're going to dress up. And that is going to be on a Friday instead of a Monday because of scheduling reasons. With Halloween being on a Monday, we figured it would be easier to let people have Halloween free and meet up a few days early. So it's going to be on Friday, the 28th, which is 2 days after my birthday, incidentally, and we're going to have a little costume party, do some spooky questions. If you guys have any cool Halloween questions, please tweet them to me at SJPlusJunkie.
Or me at Odd Shaped Panel. Or us at Odd Shaped Panel.
Whatever.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley and Joe. Did you have anything that you guys wanted to plug real quick?
We should probably plug our show.
Yeah, we just put out another episode of BFF. It was about like some James Bond movie or something. I don't know. I just show up and film. No.
No, you chose to watch
I did.
that movie.
It's over Skyfall, and we had fun with it.
Joe loves James Bond
I
and
do.
seen most of them, and I've seen all the parodied versions, so I had no clue what was going on.
Yep.
It is hilarious, especially after credits. That's my favorite part.
Oh yeah, you always got to watch the end of the OSP or not OSP, BFF. Too many acronyms. I'm tired, y'all. I'm so tired.
That's fine. You usually do a better job pitching our show anyway, so.
So yeah, always stay for the after credits because try to put something funny in there that we messed up.
Sometimes it's a cat.
Yeah, sometimes.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, thanks always for coming by, and we'll
Thank you
talk
for having
to you
us.
soon.
Alrighty.
Y'all take it easy.
Can't wait to hear everyone else's answers.
Bye.
Alrighty. So next we have
It's Candace and
Candace.
Jason are next, and then Travis is going to be after Candace and Jason.
Oh, do I have her?
You need her to send you that.
Yeah.
Candace, we need, do you have a Google Plus email? Because Tom seems to have misplaced your...
Yeah. Sometimes it saves it when you call someone, and sometimes it doesn't.
There's two Jasons. Jason with Candace, not Jason She. Jason She cannot come in tonight.
Yeah. Okay. I was looking for one thing. That should show up. All right, Candace, you should be getting an invite soon.
So Sam is watching, but he has no sound. So try to be interesting, I guess. Just mess with Sam.
Where's your notebook? I'll write him messages.
Good luck finding a blank page. So yeah, Candace, look out for that invite. They tend to pop up in weird places for people, so... that should work for us, Sam. I can't see.
Ba 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 ba. Look. Oh.
He's responding to your letter.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Halloween episode, personally.
I'm excited for the Halloween episode too, right, guys?
Scheming. Scheming.
Just in case Candace is having a hard time finding the link, would someone who usually provides the help as far as like where to
Any
look?
tips on where she can find that? Because we only
We don't call ourselves, so.
the topic for the Halloween show is Halloween and horror movies and everything spooky.
Do we have a sample of a few of the questions?
She says that she thinks she sent you an invite on accident.
Well, that's not. Here, I'll send another one.
Yeah, again, bear with us. We are still getting used to this format after the loss of Blab. Blab was much easier for us. But we got to do what we got to do. We're going to have to. Yeah. Jason, she is saying make sure to look in your Hangouts.
Well, this time your actual name came up when I'm inviting you, so maybe it's sending it somewhere else. Hi, Janine.
So you guys see how cool this is? There's a freaking Muppets episode, and it's with Vincent Price and Alice Cooper.
We didn't even know Alice Cooper was in there.
How is that not the coolest thing? It really is. Oh, there they are.
Hi.
It's,
Are we in?
yes.
You're in.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited that you're here. I know that you are also Henson enthusiasts.
Oh man, hardcore. I had a hard time tonight with my with my options.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, can I just pick every single one?
All of them.
Nice. All right. Well, let's start at. We're asking the important questions tonight. Delisha Renee asked us, "Who is your favorite Muppet and why?"
You want to go first?
No, you go first.
All right. So from ages 2 through 20, it was Miss Piggy. I was a staunch Miss Piggy supporter. I deeply believed in the eternal romance and love between Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. Like I was 110% for it. And then somewhere around 21, I think, late 20s, I realized that all these years I was secretly Janice in my soul, and all of that just went away. Just, that was it for me. It's all about Janice. Because she's a bomb-ass chick. She's
For you guys who aren't sure who Janice is in Dr. Teeth's band. She's the girl with like the really big lips.
the glamorous one.
Yes.
She's amazing. If you don't know who she is, you need to check her out. Because she is arguably the best Muppet of all time. Like, of all time.
Did you watch any of the newer Muppet show that they were doing that was kind of in the style of The Office?
I really liked it. Like, I know people were just okay. People were kind of cooled on that. But I really liked it. Like, every episode for me was, like, crying laughing.
I know. It was so freaking good. I don't understand, like, what people's deal was. And you were saying, like, you love Kermit and Piggy. I've never been on that train. So, like, I was all about this new, like, Natalie Dormer-looking hot pig girl that he had on the show. Like, she was so cute to me.
Piggy Tyrell.
I almost wish they didn't make it a pig because it almost feels like it's meant to be a replacement.
He has a type. He has a type.
He does
He
have
likes
a type.
pigs. He likes pigs.
I will say, though, I wouldn't have minded if it had been a bear. I feel like a bear is not completely outside of where Kermit's at.
Or like Fozzie's cousin or sister.
Yeah.
Like, they actually knew each other this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because Fozzie was dating the chick from Garfunkel and Oates.
Yeah, that went well.
That's right.
And who ended up dating Janice? It was Skeeter, right? Didn't Skeeter go on a date with
I
her
think so.
or something?
And then
Which was
I
like,
think it was Skeeter.
And then Skeeter got like a little bit cooler. Like his jacket went from like just being plain green to like flashy green. And he was like, look guys, I have a girlfriend now. And you listen.
But she's like, no, I can't get tied down. Like, she was like,
She's a free bird, man.
yes.
it just, I love like just the adult like jokes that like they didn't like go like hard, but they were like implied, like the Dr. T thing. It's like, yeah, they're always living in a cloud, but at least they're doing it legally now. And when Floyd's at the table and they're like, oh, all right, meeting, and he's like, I'm Floyd, and they're like, Floyd, not this kind of meeting. Like,
yeah, man, that show was great. That show had so many laughs for me. I can't believe that people were just. I feel like people were expecting it to be old-fashioned, which is silly because I feel like they tried that in the '90s and nobody watched it except for us. So,
And I thought like it was cool because it was so specific to like, well, you guys grew up with the Muppets, so now like maybe these millennials will be into the Muppets, but we can present them in a way that adults can enjoy this show, and then like didn't know what to do with it or didn't even give it a chance. And it's a bummer. If you guys haven't seen that, it was really great. I wish that it would have went on for longer.
I think Hulu has all of them, if you guys have Hulu. But like I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people didn't even watch it because I think that they thought that it was going to be like a kid's movie. Like the Charlie Brown movie, you could kind of make like the same argument. The Charlie Brown movie is 110% for like Charlie Brown fans. Like it's exactly what you would expect and it's exactly what you would want if you're a Charlie Brown person. So like they didn't give you anything extra. There wasn't like a ridiculous soundtrack. Like they didn't try to like make it gimmicky in any way or update it at all. It's like basically exactly what you would expect for a Charlie Brown movie. But I feel like for this, you know, I feel like the Muppets have always kind of moved through time, especially like with their movies and stuff. Like they've always kind of like been updated over and over again. So I feel like the right choice was to make it for people like in our age group. But I also think a lot of people in our age group, like we don't have TV anymore. So it was more for people who were doing like the prime time 8 o'clock Tuesday night kind of thing. And I feel like that barely exists in our demographic.
I feel like when they were doing Muppets through the generations, and we were talking about this earlier, like in private chat, Candace, like how all the cameos that have come through the ages, and like that kind of dates them and brings them along. But I kind of felt like the celebrities they grabbed for this incarnation was kind of like a niche market anyway. So if you weren't into that celebrity, I don't think you would have had.
Yeah, but they can have like Josh Groban on there or whatever, and that's not necessarily something that I'm into, but it's still hilarious with what they do with somebody like that.
But he's no Carol Burnett. You know what I mean? Like there is like, it's almost like the star quality is almost not good enough for Muppets.
You meant this show?
Yeah.
I just
like no, they had some like they had John Hamm. They had like people I really like on there, but like I feel like for
that show is perfect in every way. The people who didn't watch it are the problem. But
I don't have an opinion.
So Candace, when they traveled through time, did they travel by map?
I think it's only when they travel distances. I think they have to travel by clock.
I was gonna say like that show it's literally The Office, and one of my favorite things about it is the intro too. And I loved like how they did the Muppet song, but like a really like just like a little dee 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 like little dings for it or whatever. Like everything about it was so The Office but with Muppets. It was really great.
I agree. Very good showbiz comedy as well.
Yes. Well, Jason, did you have a favorite Muppet?
Yes, Rolf.
Yes.
I feel like that's the most obvious answer in the world. Granted, a combination of Miss Piggy and Janice is probably obvious for me too, but still.
Wow.
Rolf?
Here's the most obvious answer in the world. Oh, Kermit the Frog's girlfriend. All right.
He's handsome. I don't know.
He's I feel like he's the most real. Like he's he's always down for some reason, but he's like, but I'm gonna play some piano. It's gonna be all right.
I'm right there with you, man.
When he has the cone on, it's the best.
Yeah.
Like when he's trying to play piano and he has like the cone around.
Okay, so speaking of playing piano, so as a kid, like when I'd watch this, Rolf has big floppy fingers, so he'd play the piano like this. So when I would mimic playing the piano as a kid, it'd be like, what are you doing? Playing bongos? I'm like, no, I'm playing piano. You do it like this. And they're like, no, it's like this. And I'm like, no, it's... So, for the longest, if you ever, like, see me, like, getting down to it, I'm playing some air piano, I'm just going...
I wonder if, like, anybody's been inspired to, like, learn the piano because they love the Muppets. Like, Jason Segel plays piano, and Gaga, who also clearly loves the Muppet, plays piano. Like, I wonder if they got any of that, like, inspiration from both.
I feel like she has to. Like think about who else is like a huge inspiration for her, Elton John, and think about the relationship Elton John and the Muppets have had throughout the years. All comes full circle.
Yeah. And Henson has done creatures for like Lady Gaga's tours and stuff too. Like she's continued to like have connections with the Henson Creature Shop. It's really awesome.
If the people at the Jim Henson, is Jim Henson Studio still around?
It's the Creature Shop.
The Creature Shop people are listening, which they definitely are. I have a really great concept for a show. So you know how, what's the movie that we really like that's like in the 80s and Campground? It's got like Amy Poehler and everybody.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer. You know how Wet Hot American, I'm sorry, I just had mine. You know how Wet Hot American Summer, they came back with a show, but everybody was still dressed as if they were on Wet Hot American Summer. So even though they did the Muppet Show again, you know, it was the Muppet Show, but not too many people were interested. I think they should do a like 70s version of the Muppet Show, but like have today's stars come on dressed in the 70s.
I'm into it. Like make it a 70s television show, but with new people.
Yes, and put it on Netflix, and I think you're gonna get the audience.
Yeah, I like that.
It'd be cool to have actors play old actors. Like
yes, I was just about to say that. Yes.
And I think that Netflix is the right place for them. I think if you had taken the same show that they just did and put it on Netflix instead of regular TV, it would have been a lot more successful.
Yeah, but they're owned by Disney, so it's going on ABC and doing one season, like anything.
So in which case, Disney people, when you watch and listen to this show, that's my pitch.
Although it could be said, if we're going to talk about opening parallel universes, Netflix has a really great relationship with Disney because of the MCU. So it could happen.
That's true.
Nice.
And if they needed anybody to head up that show, Disney, Tom and I, you can come. Tom and I can do it. Just, we got it for you.
Nice. All right. Well, the second question, the lovely Ashley at That Mrs. Davis asked us, what is the best Henson movie not featuring the Muppets? And I can guess what your answer is going to be.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Dude!
Oh my God, that one, I wish they were behind that because I looked into it and they don't do the Angel Puppet episode. No. But the Angel Puppet episode is
That's
amazing.
A good one. I feel like it's the only one that's worth watching. I've seen like almost all of it. Something happened in the middle and I had to stop. But I'm sorry. I know you like that. I don't know why, but I'm sorry.
Lauren, mostly Lauren.
Yeah. That's the one good part for me. Like Fred, I mean, whatever.
Who cares about Jade?
Brown Man? Cordelia? I mean, come on. Anyway, you're getting us off topic. What's your movie?
You go first.
We
have a cipher that goes.
So apparently there's a cycle and I have to go first every time. My favorite non-Muppet Henson movie, obviously it's Labyrinth, but I'm going to shake things up and I'm going to say The Witches. That's what I'm going to say.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, it's Labyrinth for all of the obvious reasons, but I feel like Ashley like really nailed it and you guys were like having really awesome dialogue previously, so we can talk about The Witches instead because it's both Roald Dahl and Henson.
It's funny because Tom had this look on his face when Ashley was on, and I'm like, I feel like Tom wants to talk about how Labyrinth is about masturbation. And I'm like, don't do it while Ashley's on. Don't do it. Wait for Candace.
Okay, go ahead. Wait, actually, I think Jason's going to say Labyrinth. Are you going to say Labyrinth?
No.
He already did.
I was not going to say Labyrinth.
What were you going to say?
No, it's okay. Let's talk about masturbation first.
Go ahead, Tom.
All right. Well, when you love yourself very, very much. There's. I can send you a video that paints it much better than I can, but it's small things like the first time she meets Hob. All right, that's his name. Hoggle. He has this very large phallic image in his hands, and he's spraying it all over fairies.
Also, his nose.
There's a lot of things, and ultimately, when she has to go meet the Goblin King, who is pretty much the peak of her fantasy, if you couldn't tell by the bulge.
Yeah. I know all about that.
Like she needed all of her friends to get to this point, and now she's pretty much just like, you wait outside, I'm gonna bang the Goblin King, and they're like, all right, we'll be here, and like that. But I'll send you the actual video of like how they explain it, and like it's like little things like. And here he whips it out to take a piss over here, and that's the first time. Like there's a lot of things of how it's set up. Of course, it cannot be, but there's a lot of parallels that stack up. And I'll also be linking you on why Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord, because it is very convincing.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
It goes deep.
Yeah.
Like
there are so many little things, but when you add them all up, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, blah blah blah, but that
no, seriously. Yeah.
I'll say it real quick.
We're right here.
The whole thing with Yoda about being the idiot who turns into the wise one who knows everything.
Yep.
Literally, the original name or the script name for episode 2 was Jar Jar's Great Adventure. So, like, you knew there was going to be more.
Man, so
about
happy
him.
we're talking about this.
So I'll send you both links. You can either watch the masturbation one and then the Jar Jar Binks one, or the Jar Jar Binks one and then the whatever.
That's how I feel.
Or we split screen it and just watch them both at the same time.
It's just like Kimber says, but don't watch the Jar Jar Binks masturbation video.
No.
It's totally different thing. Don't Google it. Just click the links I send you.
I can say though for Labyrinth that I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
I agree to an extent. Obviously, I'm gonna have to do more research. I can definitively say that movie was masturbation material for an entire generation of young women, for sure. I remember being at a sleepover party when I was like in 3rd grade, and I wasn't allowed to sleep over people's houses because my mom was like, stranger danger, and I was like, yeah, okay. So I was never allowed any sleepovers, really. So my mom used to like drop me off and then like pick me up really late at night, like 2 a.m, and then drop me off again at 7 a.m. so I could wake up and like have breakfast with everyone, so it wasn't weird, even though it was still totally weird, but like whatever. I was safe. So I remember one morning it was like she dropped me off at like 7 a.m. and like none of the parents were awake yet. My friend just like opened the door because they had been up all night. And I guess they had been watching Labyrinth like on repeat. So it was like the 3rd time they were watching Labyrinth. And I was like, dude, watch Labyrinth last night myself. Let's all get down and watch Labyrinth. So we're watching Labyrinth like 2-3 times in a row before my mom comes to pick me up. And we had so many like 3rd grader conversations that like now I look at my 11-year-old stepdaughter who's like much older and I'm just like, what do you talk about with your friends? Because like the bulge was like, whoa. I mean, even in 3rd grade, we were like, I'm feeling a way. I don't know how this way is that I'm feeling, but there's a way that I'm feeling, and it's good.
It's like that scene in
Hit Girl?
Hit Girl, in Kick-Ass 2 when she's like watching the boy band or whatever.
Yes.
Like they have that effect on everyone. Labyrinth was that for us.
Oh yeah.
I like how we went to
Yes. Oh, did they both do it?
Well, you said witches also. I don't know if you
Oh, I did say witches, but I don't want to hog up the time.
All right. Dark Crystal. So witches.
You don't want to talk about it?
No, I like Dark Crystal.
Me too. That's the one I picked.
Awesome. Really? Awesome. Yeah. That movie is
It's terrifying. Is what
all
it
the way
is.
to, okay, personally for me, the heroes of Dark Crystal are arguably scarier looking and moving.
I said that earlier.
Yeah.
I was saying before that the reason.
No, I don't like it. No.
I was saying before that the reason I like Dark Crystal so much is because there are no people in it, and while I love Muppet movies because they do interact with people and stuff like that, the Dark Crystal was its entire own thing.
Yeah,
It just made the puppets like stand out even more, I feel like.
I agree.
But yeah, Dark Crystal is really good.
The detail in that movie is like out of control. Like if you ever like look at stills of these characters, because like, you know, it gets a little grainy, and like I know they have like high def versions now. I haven't actually watched an updated copy yet, but like just looking at stills of these puppets, it's like breathtaking. There's like tiny tattoos like in their skin, and like Agra's wrinkles are all like super strategically placed, and like her like wart has hair growing out of, like, I mean they like spared no expense.
And they didn't stop there.
Just gorgeous.
Then like the costumes for the
Yeah.
puppets were like,
Yeah.
Like each one had their own personality. Like the dude with the little with the little like glasses was like that.
Yeah.
Like all of them. The Cardinal. I love the Cardinal's costume. And then
yeah.
they destroy his costume. Like it is.
That's a thing too. We were talking about the Jim Henson's Creature Shop show that they had on, I think it was Sci-Fi for like one season, and it was a competition show.
Didn't they make their own Skeksis at one
They
point?
did, yeah. But what they did on that show, it was like in the style of Face Off. If you guys watch Face Off, which is the next competition, but they blew me away because in the same time that they would do challenges on Face Off, these people were making full-blown, like, a Skeksis or whatever that fully moved, was completely fabricated.
Yeah, the animatronics were.
And its eyes that worked. I'm like, blown away by the talent and the skill of what these people were doing on that show. It's crazy, like what you need to be able to do to work for the creature shop. Like you have to have so many different types of skills. It's not only just being able to like fabricate or like do electronics and work servos or like make a beautiful costume. You have to be able to do all of that stuff to work for them. And more.
Because you have to stand out, so you have to be able to top them in something. So it was a really good show, and I've seen a lot of people going, why isn't there not a season 2? Why isn't there not a season 2?
There's no jobs at the Henson Creature Shop.
That's true.
I read a Brian Henson thing. They would love to do one for Netflix.
I would love that.
There was a thing between Disney and Sci-Fi.
Like that was such an awesome show. Everybody should go check that out. Really good. Okay, I'm really excited to ask you guys this question. This is a question that I wanted to know. What is your favorite Henson musical number?
Okay. I don't know if anyone is going to know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. I feel like the best part of Sesame Street is its musical numbers, personally. And, like, I get it. Like, 3/4 of Sesame Street is musical numbers, whatever. But I'm saying, from, like, season 1 to about, I don't know, 1997, 98, I want to say. Like, the musical guests on that show, in addition to their own organic music, was just out of control. Like, out of control. My favorite selection from that time period is a little gem called I Lost My Cookie at the Disco by Cookie Monster. It is an old-fashioned disco jam, and it is the fucking tits. It is so good. It's really just, you can roller skate to it if you want to. It's basically a song with Cookie Monster and his like disco diva background singers lamenting the loss of his cookie at a disco because someone probably hustled off with it. It's incredible, is the point. There's apparently a whole Sesame Street disco album that I've been looking for at Goodwills and thrift stores everywhere, and I've yet to find it. I found one for like $200 on eBay, and I was like, no. But there's like a whole album of like disco jams that they did, because like they're notorious for doing covers of things that are really funny, whether they're like movies or TV shows, like the Game of Thrones one that's awesome if you haven't seen it, and the Downton Abbey. But like also they have like, you know, Serial Girl that is a play on Material Girl and whatever. But Lost My Cookie at the Disco for me is bar none the best of Sesame Street.
We easily listen to that song like 25 times a year.
Yeah, it's really good.
No lie. She loves this song so much.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I grew up with a John Denver Christmas album with
Yes.
I like, and of course I was little, and yes, I listened to vinyl because that's what my grandparents had. I didn't ever think in a million years I would be wanting to have vinyl, you know what I mean? And I go to my dad's and I find them. I find the old ones, and there it is. Like, and she's probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about because it's not here, because there was no vinyl inside. It was just the sleeve, and I got so mad.
No!
Have you ever seen Cookie Monster singing Tom Waits?
No.
YouTube Tom Waits Cookie Monster. They just put Cookie Monster over Tom Waits' voice, but it's amazing.
I bet his lamentations are so sincere. Probably really feel good.
I think God's away on business, and there's another one. But
nice.
And what was yours, Jason?
All right. This is probably super obvious, and I apologize, but the reason why I like this, the Fraggle Rock opening theme, and I wouldn't say this if it wasn't like completely acted out and fully sung and all that jazz. But when you have like a theme song that like I don't ever want to fast forward through, like whenever we watch Steven Universe, well, we usually watch like an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, we watch a block.
Just like Steven,
because it's awesome.
But there's shows that we can easily skip over, like the opening credits.
Yeah, you can fast forward to the theme, but that's
can't
not one
skip
of them.
through the opening credits. Steven Universe. Same with Fraggle Rock, man.
Yeah.
Like I can watch the opening of Fraggle Rock if we were to watch, like seriously, if we were to just binge Fraggle Rock, every episode I'd want to watch.
Yeah.
I'd want to watch the opening song because it's killer. So,
how do you guys feel about the news that HBO is remastering the show and re-releasing it?
I'm into it.
this is breaking news to me. Are you serious?
That's why we're doing this episode. You know what, Jason? If you're not going to...
Tom, I have good news, though. You know what else was recently remastered?
What's that?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Netflix. It's no longer in square format with grainy pixelated imagery. Now it's full screen and it's nice and clear. Just the tip
No.
for you.
No. The whole thing. You know who's not going to be able to watch that?
Who?
Me.
Why?
Because the special effects that Kimber thinks is campy and hates is just going to be twice as effective.
I love the movie. Is that so wrong? I really love the movie. Like, more than most people love the movie, I fucking love that movie. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just so fucking sorry, you guys. So we got one more question. You missed it because I was talking about Dracula musical earlier because it was my choice for this.
Dracula musical!
But and I will have to tell you later, but I did a fan friction fight last week, and one of the questions was best nude scene. I won, by the way. I won the fight first time. But I fought best nude scene, and you would have appreciated that everybody picked naked dudes for their nude scenes. It was the Deadpool fight and the Eastern Promises fight, but I picked Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Naked Breakup, Jason Segel.
Yes.
Round, and you have to watch it because I think you'll just really appreciate some of the points I had about that.
I will absolutely be watching that. I'm excited. Do you get angry?
Huh?
Do you get angry?
Did I get angry? No, I was just passionate. I really meant it.
You skipped on a few people.
I was enthusiastic about his nudity, you guys.
I like it when Kimber gets spicy. It's my favorite.
Then you're gonna like this episode.
I'll send you the link.
Who did you fight?
I fought Trisha Hirschberger and Joe.
Oh, poor Joe. He's too nice
Joe
to
is
fight
sick
you.
too.
Poor Joe was sick. Yeah, he's so good. But okay. So this last question: what is your favorite Henson creature that is not from a Henson movie?
For me, it's weird because like I really didn't care about this movie. I really wanted to care much more about this movie, and maybe I just need to watch it again. I don't know. Maybe I was having a shitty day. But the creatures themselves are like breathtaking, and they're like everything I've ever wanted. Definitely hands down where the wild things are. Like, those creatures are so beautiful. Like, the emotions in their face, like the attention to detail. Like, I feel like when I watched, like when I first saw that very first trailer, like, I felt like I was 4 years old, man. Like, and I feel like nothing has brought me back so sharply to my childhood, like, than that. Like, I mean, again, like, the movie was just okay for me. It was, it wasn't terrible. I know. It wasn't like the worst movie in the world. It wasn't the best movie in the world. But like, man, those creatures are just like, they break my heart a little bit. Like, seeing them. Like, the trailer was so well put together, and like, I felt like someone was like knifing me in my soul or something watching it. It was so beautiful. It was like heartbreaking.
You couldn't do it any other way. Like, especially because the art it's like such a specific style. Like,
Yes.
I have on my banjo, I have a sticky of Max marching because it's just like the style is so perfect, and I couldn't see those monsters any other way.
No.
And they nailed it. Like,
That movie just kind of felt
the pacing's
flat,
weird.
unfortunately.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a 16-page child's book, and that they made into a movie. Like, it's
They
the same
did too
thing.
much. They should have
Like
touched
nine,
less.
I felt nine was better as a short because they extended the whole story that they went through with 9 into a
Frankenweenie
whole.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Keep it
but hey,
I don't care with Frankenweenie and stuff like that in shorts, as long as they don't mess with my Tim Burton's Vincent. That thing is 6 minutes.
they're not going to get anyone to narrate it. So.
There's probably enough
Haven't
like
heard.
role of Vincent Price saying every different word that you could totally like make it.
Agreed.
Frankfurters.
Yeah, I was looking up Vincent Price quotes earlier, like for an unrelated thing, but there was just one. Like, a lot of them were like the same. Like, Vincent Price it says like it's as much fun to be scared as it is to scare and stuff. But one of them was just this quote that was like, "Nothing will ever be as good as taking your first bite into a
Succulent.
succulent
bite.
Frankfurter."
That one time he was more intense than usual.
Maybe that was like an audition because he did a lot of amazing commercials.
Well, he
Maybe
was
that
a
was
cook.
like,
He
oh,
was a
that's
cook.
true.
It could have been for his cookbook.
Maybe
and
it was
stuff.
like he did his own, like made your own frankfurter.
I don't care what context it is. I know that's off topic, but it was hilarious, and I thought I would share.
Well, if we didn't mention Vincent Price once per, well, we mentioned him about 6 times now, but
How about you, Jason?
What was this one?
This is your favorite, not your favorite creature non Henson movie.
All right, so mine. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be really obvious. Yoda, Ninja Turtles, like just fantastic, man, killer, super. Just like enough has been said, so I don't want to.
You can talk about your love.
Travis will have more.
What's that now?
So Travis will have more about to say about the turtles. So
So you can talk about Yoda if you want to.
No, Yoda's awesome. It's really great. Back in when episode 1 first came out, Blockbuster had this contest, and you go in, kind of submit to enter a life-size Yoda or a life-size Jar Jar Binks and a life-size Darth Maul. Well, I won the Yoda, and for a very long time, like it was just in my house, and it was awesome. The Yoda from the original 3 is just, I don't know, it's something, not the original 3, the original, episode 5 and 6, yeah. He was, I don't know, he looked great. He looked super real. And then when I saw episode 1, and I saw Yoda in episode 1, and I was just like, man, it looks like a cartoon version of Yoda. It looks like a cartoon version of Yoda if somebody who was drawing Yoda didn't really know how to draw Yoda. Like, I don't know, it was just really... So the puppetry, I don't know, just the puppetry behind it really brought the creature to life. I really like it.
I don't know if they tried to de-age him a little or what
I
it
think
was.
so.
But, and I've heard a big argument that like because like the Dagobah system is like so inherently dark side that it like had like physical effects on him and aged him more. Like so I've heard arguments against this, but like
He's 900 years old.
Yeah, I
900
understand
years
how
old,
it's a 500-year lifespan at least. That
It is.
it, 900-year-old lifespan at least that you're going to age that much in 15 years.
That's true.
It's funny that you bring up the life-size Yoda because, Candace, do you remember that Brett, my mentor, the guy who taught me how to tattoo, definitely had one of those life-size Yodas, and that thing is awesome.
It was killer, man. Like it had a wooden staff. It had like the soft goods on it was real like candy. It was awesome. It's my favorite thing.
Yep.
His hair
Like,
was real.
My mentor's place, he had like a small place, but he had this loft upstairs where he liked to paint, and when you would go upstairs, it was like freaking being in the expensive part of Tate's Comics or something. He had like a full stormtrooper and like a full Yoda. I'm like, holy crap! Like, bring this downstairs, put it on display at least.
No, he's selfish. He keeps it all to himself. I have a side note.
Oh wait, I had one more.
Oh, you have one more. I'm sorry.
Because those were ours. Okay. Okay, this show has its own problems. We're not talking about its problems. But BP Richfield from Dinosaurs, the boss, the big Triceratops, that just, it was so good.
He was
like
pretty
I
good.
loved, like I love rhinos.
The red around his eyes.
Oh
was like,
yeah, man. He just like he was so.
He was like real meaty.
I love it.
Lots of character and personality. We actually tried watching that show a few months ago. I don't know if you guys have gone back in time to try and watch that show at all on Netflix.
No.
Netflix was like, let's make
It is
1980s
a rough
dinosaurs be like.
It's a rough one, I'm not gonna lie. Because you're
1920s
watching it and
stuff.
you're like, I grew up with this. And it's like sexism, misogyny, sexism. My wife, Ayana. And you're like,
Well,
do you really remember this being this way?
I think it was supposed to be our generation's in the wait, what is it?
Honeymooners?
Family? Honeymooners,
Yes.
yeah. And whereas like we're not laughing with the main dude because he's obviously a horrible guy. We're more laughing at the situation he gets himself into.
Yeah.
But a side note is how like I don't know how they didn't really do this before, and they did do it like in Sesame Street here and there and blah blah blah. But they almost had dinosaurs on a Looney Tunes level where like the cartoon, like they had cartoonish feet, like smoke coming out, like you were just talking about the boss, like smoke coming out of his nose, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so cool how they like had that line between puppetry and cartoon
Yeah.
Right.
without being a cartoon.
I think Sam is on break, so we
Okay,
don't- what was Candace's side note, real quick,
Yeah.
before we say goodbye to you guys for the night?
My side note is that puppetry begets puppetry. So once upon a time, there was a movie called Labyrinth, and the man who was highly influential and very close with Jim Henson, his name is Brian Froud, and he's like a phenomenal artist, and all of his stuff is like fucking solid gold. And his son, Toby Froud, is the baby from Labyrinth, right?
Mhm.
So fast forward to me being in the theater watching Kubo and the Two Strings a couple weeks ago. Toby Froud is a lead animator for Leica. So
Yeah.
he like went through life, did all this awesome stuff with his dad, like helped fund and run the Labyrinth of Jareth annual masquerade ball in LA. Like he does performance art and stuff like that. Cut an album of like crazy medieval stuff, and now is lead animator at Leica. Like kid's life is just on point, man. I would love to talk to that guy. Like his life must be incredible.
And that's just I almost brought this up earlier. I didn't even realize they had a connection like that, but just another dying part of the industry is like stop motion is so important. Like we tried so hard to get people to go out and see Kubo on the
Kubo
first
is
weekend.
beautiful.
We brought people. with
It's
us.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Not their strongest movie, but definitely beautiful.
Right. The story for me wasn't as cohesive as I perhaps would have wanted, but like
holy crap!
visually, I mean,
Next level for them. Next
oh
level.
my god.
Yeah.
Like
And
my eyeballs were like curdled in my skull. I was just like, it's too pretty.
And they did a really good job with painting. Like everything they did was like Japanese like culture, like it was the spirit celebration and everything like that. But they didn't like hammer it in your head. You know what I mean? They just like this is part of this kid's life. You know what I mean? They didn't be like this is the blah 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 blah. And they kind of got a lot of flack because the leads weren't Asian, but they had a big supporting Asian cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
So like they got a little flack for that, but I thought they did well. I agree with you though that the Paranorman's story I feel like is one of the biggest, one of the best stories they have.
Hands
but
down.
I gotta cut myself off. We promised that we would get
Sam
in
in on
here.
his break, and he only has 10 minutes before.
All right, hey, we'll go ahead and bounce.
Nice to see you
But,
guys.
We love you guys,
Thursday?
and we will see
Thursday.
you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Eject. All right.
Rejected my bestie. All right, we're gonna squeeze in Sam really quick. He's on break from work. He only has 10 minutes. But after that, if Travis is around, we're gonna have Travis, and then after Travis is Cal.
I don't think Cal can call in tonight unless something changed. Let's watch it.
Okay.
She's gonna grape you in the mouth. Look at that working man.
Hello.
Hey Sam, how's it going?
Going up. Good. I'm just trying to get to somewhere where I'm not going to annoy people at work. And we'll get a nice view in the background.
Nice.
Let's
This
see.
is the Australian Center of Disease Control. If anyone doesn't know, Sam is a brilliant scientist.
Yeah, I don't work for an online gambling company. Where are we? So there's Melbourne in the background
Beautiful.
from
Nice.
20 stories up.
See my house?
Ugh.
All right, so let's try to squeeze these in this way we don't disrupt your break real quick.
That's all right. I wasn't doing anything anyway.
Our new fan, Delisha Renee,
Yes.
asked, who is your favorite Muppet and why?
The Swedish Chef. Although I want to give some honourable mentions to Sam the Eagle, Beaker, and Animal.
Good choices.
If Sam the Eagle was your only impression of America, how would you feel about America?
See, I love Sam the Eagle, but how can you not love someone named Sam?
Like, he's so patriotic, but he's not. And I love that he was in charge of censoring in the new show.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right, Ashley at that Mrs. Davis asked, what is the best Henson movie not featuring the Muppets?
So I'm going to skip this question only because my best friend will murder me if I admit publicly that I've never seen Labyrinth, although I've just done that.
There's other ones.
I will skip this one. I haven't got an answer for it.
Okay. What is your favorite Henson musical number?
Cabin Fever. So it's not directly Jim Henson, but from Muppets Treasure Island. My favourite song, one of my favourite songs from a Muppet movie, has to be Cabin Fever. It's
Yeah,
just so
and
funny and loud and boisterous, and
I love Muppet Treasure Island. It's one of my like. It's when you think about how many Muppet movies there actually are, you're like, oh wow, I really like that. Oh wow, like it's
Yeah.
hard. It's really hard to like. I think I already know this, but what is your favorite Henson creature that is not in a Henson movie?
it has to be Baby from Dinosaurs. I just love that little guy. So sarcastic like me, just cracking jokes all the time. And yet everyone still loves him.
Yeah, I feel like he was the predecessor of Stewie Griffin.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for hopping in, Sam. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Muppets?
No, that was just short and sweet, and just wanted to get on and say hello to you guys. So.
Appreciate it. Tell
Cool.
everyone at work to leave you alone, and
Nice.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks,
no worries.
Sam.
Catch you guys.
Enjoy your day. I have to say day because he's an Australian.
Is Travis still around? I know I saw him a while back. I think he might have disappeared. And Cal, was that a definite you cannot call in tonight? Who's here still? I don't think it tells you. I think it just says. Wowzer, it is early.
It is
To
early.
finish up. I would love to get Travis in here. I know he really wants to talk about those turtles. Especially if he's just popping out, and if he pops back in and we're all gone, I feel like he'd be bummed.
All right. So let's see. What do we have coming up? We have again Friday. Not this Friday. Next Friday, we're going to be doing our Halloween episode. Come in costume. It would be fun if we did a little costume contest of OSPeeps.
We could do that.
So to encourage you guys to come in costume, maybe we'll do a little giveaway.
I do have a mug and some of those really
Yeah.
cute bookmarks and stickers from Jalen Paper Co. We could maybe.
Yeah.
Do
So
that.
maybe we'll do some kind of contest, or maybe we'll break it up into small prizes. So like, best blah blah blah. You know how they do it. So like scariest, funniest. Hey, that depends if we get enough people to break it up into sections. But it's not like this. Maybe one person's going home with all the prizes, and it's Kimber. So it's gonna save us.
Listen, this has been a
shit.
small night, but it's mostly because a lot of people were working tonight. We got a hold of a lot of the normal group, and unfortunately, a lot of people were working late or early and couldn't make it. And the people that we had in here definitely showed their passion and love for what Jim Henson has done. It's been seriously important and influential to a lot of people. And I liked what Candace was saying about puppetry makes more puppetry. And it's really important that we keep these forms of art going so that further generations can enjoy it as much as we have. So if you know anyone who wants to make puppets and stuff, encourage them. Don't tell them it's a silly dream, because people need that, I need it. I love puppets.
And don't think it stops in the movies and stuff. There are a lot of YouTube content with I've come across Professor Puppet, who just does a lot of advice on making videos and stuff like that. He wanted to make it, but he couldn't tonight. I talked to a lot of people. Arlo, if you're familiar with Arlo, he does videos with Loxton and stuff. He got back to me, but it wasn't good for him either. Puppets lead very busy lives, but people are trying to bring this back. There is a large puppet community that I'm not aware of, that I'm slightly aware of. But if you look for it, you can find it. But it is nice to see it coming back in film and stuff like that.
It's just like I said, there's nothing like a puppet right there in front of you talking to you. It's not going to age or get weird over time.
I can tell you exactly the scene you got Misty over in Force Awakens. It's seeing that buzzard puppet going kunk 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 against the metal, and it meant nothing to the story. It just set up the scene, and it was perfect, and it was real.
Even just to see scenery that was real.
Yeah,
They
did it right.
They did. Big fan.
Travis, I'm going to sing your name in case
have
you're
his
off to
email?
the side.
Maybe just send an invite. See how that goes. Sorry if we sound terrible. We're both kind of sick tonight.
Ultra Charger. I don't know if I have his. You following anything before?
I don't know. I know that he usually just shows up when he has a chance to talk about Ninja Turtles.
All right, guys. While we're waiting for Travis, we gotta kill some time. Do you have any questions for us?
Also, I was thinking, I know there's only a couple people in here, and you guys probably are in the group and already answered my question, but we're thinking of doing an Edgar Wright special after the Halloween special. So that'd be like, I guess, a month from now.
Yeah, about so.
So if you want to do an Edgar Wright special and you're into that and it's exciting to you, then please let me know. Definitely an exciting idea, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that you guys like it. Hi, Sam. Thank you. I know there was a little singing tonight, but it wasn't too.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, and if Raul's watching, I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy, and keep at it. And soon you'll be on all the fan cams. What are some other puppets you guys like that aren't Henson creatures?
I like
Crumb.
Salacious Crumb. Did we find out, is
I don't
that
know.
or is that not indeed a Henson
Because
creature? Does
we
anybody know if Salacious Crumb is a Henson puppet? Because we know that Yoda is. I'm just not sure like to what extent Henson worked on the Star Wars or if it was just Yoda, but I love Salacious Crumb. He's like my favorite character from Star Wars, you guys know.
I mean, I have to say Tom Servo, and by default, Crow, from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I like the girl too. What's her
Gypsy.
name? Gypsy, yeah.
Gypsy's good, and Cambot, who was just the camera. I am really excited for the comeback for that. Felicia Day, Patton Oswalt, Joel. Who's gonna be the replacement for Mike? He's that comedian.
I don't know.
Joel somebody, I think. But yeah, I am super excited for that. Is there an up-and-coming puppeteer that can become the next Jim Henson? I can tell you who it's not, and it's Jeff Dunham.
I mean, I certainly hope so. If they might probably being Joel McHale.
Yes.
They're probably an unknown at this point, or maybe even working for, the Henson Creature Shop. I'm sure they have some really amazing puppeteers over there.
I know Brian Henson is still working a lot with puppet. I don't know how much of a puppeteer he is. I would think he would dabble in it at least, but you don't really see his name out there. You only see him supporting.
And again, those people who competed on that freaking Creature Shop show blew my mind with what they were doing. Like, there are definitely some amazing puppeteers out there. I don't know if it's like the coolest thing to admit that you're a puppeteer. I feel like there's still a mild stigma to that, but hopefully it will become a little more in fashion again.
There's a difference between puppeteer and ventriloquist. Ventriloquists are the creepy ones.
Ventriloquists are cool too. I also like dummies, so
Night of the Living.
yeah, they're creepy. There's something like, even if it's like a nice character, there's something mildly creepy about puppets and ventriloquist dummies and dolls in general, and that kind of draws me towards them. I like it. Like we said, even the good guys in Dark Crystal are mildly terrifying. Well, I don't know if Travis is going to show back up here. I think we might have to call it a night if no one else can call in.
Yeah, if no one else has any other questions, or because I kind of like that. I just don't want to. I feel bad cutting it an hour short. You guys feel like we're not.
I know. If anybody wants to come back in and talk more about Henson, then please let me know.
We can just open up a discussion for funsies. I can literally invite a few people.
I know that Jason doesn't want to.
I know Jason's not.
So who do we? It's mostly just Ashley. And
and I mean, I don't know how much it counts because I think they were stop motion. But growing up, I was a huge fan of Puppet Master movies. Yeah. Pinhead. I'm trying to remember all of them. Pinhead.
There was is that the dude with the
Six
drill
Shooter.
on his head?
That's
the chick who throws up leeches. Horribly.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie's really good. All right. So who's up just to talk? Because we'll just talk and make up some
Why
time.
don't you just send Ashley and Jill an invite, and if
And
we're
Candace.
just gonna put it out there. I think Candace and Jason might have called it tonight because
Okay.
they did tell me they were trying to get in early.
No problem. Is Billy still on?
Billy said he was gonna go watch Reanimator, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which I don't blame him. That's
That's a
an
good
amazing movie.
Any puppets in that? I think
Maybe that cat.
The cat might have
Maybe
been.
the squished.
What was the
kitty.
name of that cat?
I do not remember the name of the cat. Well, in the real story, I know, but we're not gonna.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
we learned some things about H.P. Lovecraft.
We watched a documentary about H.P. Lovecraft the other day, and I found out that he was a horrible racist, and that was like a huge bummer for my life.
He got better like 5 years before he died. If that helps, he learned. His heart grew 3 sizes in a matter of 30 years.
Yeah, let's get Ashley and Joe.
I think
here.
I sent them.
I like those dudes.
Can I just send them one?
Unless Janine wants to come back on too. Open discussion.
I think
Oh,
Janine's
she's
also
working or something tonight,
Janine's
right?
with her family right now.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody was so busy tonight.
Yeah.
They said he was even a racist for his time. He had to keep it to himself, like his opinions, because he was alienating his friends because he was such a racist.
It's not. It wasn't like even like a particular group. He was just extremely xenophobic. He didn't leave his town for years, and then people were starting to cut like.
And then he went to New York with
Yeah.
his wife, and he hated it so much.
But he married a Jewish woman, which was like he did all these weird like out of like character things where he was like, oh, I'm xenophobic. I don't want to have anything that is not me or where I'm from. And then he goes like weird. He was weird.
I knew that someone, I believe it might have been Janine, sent me a cool question that was like, what movie would you like to see done in the style of Henson? And I feel like you could do Lovecraft cool stuff in the style of Henson because, like, if you did, like, the deep ones or something, like, as puppets, it could be really cool.
Like,
looking.
yeah, like Labyrinth-style deep ones. That'd
Yeah.
be insane.
What do you think, Ashley?
What was the question?
I was saying, Janine sent us a cool question that was something along the lines of, like, if you could see a movie in the style of Henson, I was saying Lovecraft could be cool, because could you imagine, like, the deep ones and stuff as puppets?
Oh man, a really cool like Cthulhu puppet. That would be really
Directed
cool.
by Del Toro.
Oh,
Guillermo del
man.
Toro with Henson puppets. I'm saving that one for a fight. I'm trying to think of another good one. You know what? I would like to see Neverending Story actually done with Henson puppets because as amazing Falcor was, and that's a good answer to.
I like the Rockbiter, too.
Rockbiter was good, but I feel like they felt too much like I don't know. They didn't have the same realism as like Falcor is like the one exception, but everyone else
Yeah, they spent all the budget on him.
seems like it.
That's
He's
what everyone's remembering.
but he's the most realistic.
Yeah.
They didn't tell him to make a thing.
What about you, Ashley? Do you have any like thoughts of what would be cool to like a cool movie that could be done with Henson puppets?
I haven't ever thought of that. And you know, I'm so good at like off the cuff answers.
Speed round. Go.
Fail. I'm trying to think of like what would be like what you said about Neverending Story, like what it already has puppets that could be improved. I can't think of anything because I can't just think of anything new that you could tell with puppets, or like maybe something that they failed at. I don't know. Maybe if they did like a Warcraft movie with puppets instead of all the CGI creatures. I don't know, because that CGI, when you look at it isolated, looked really good, but then when they brought the human element into it, that's when it started to look bad.
Jason Shi says Toy Story, which would be interesting as like a real life
Like puppets instead of
toy
animation
toy
like
puppets.
that. Yeah, that's cool.
Another one who had really good creature effects and visual effects, Krampus. But I wouldn't have Henson do that. I think whoever was behind that shop actually did a really good job. And
Going back to Ashley's question about other puppets that I like, did you guys ever watch? I think it was called Frank the Rabbit. With I I think Seth Green was in it. It was like a very short-lived.
It was.
Oh, yeah, I think I vaguely remember that now. It was on like
Greg
WB.
the Bunny.
Greg the Bunny.
Greg the Bunny is what it was
Yes.
called. I really liked that show. That was funny. I remember they had like a character who was like the Count on there, but instead he said blah or something.
Blah.
Blah at the end of everything, and they were trying to get him to say like new catchphrases. So like the thing would say like "ite," and instead of "ite," he'd be like "I get blah." I love that guy.
Wonder Chosen.
Yes.
Wonder Chosen was an adult Sesame Street. Like one time they sold a kid to a Chinese restaurant just to buy a Chinese like prepared meal with baby. Like it was a weird show.
Yeah, that's like
But with
intentionally
puppets.
disturbing.
They don't admit they're being disturbing. Like that's like, no, we're happy, la la la. It's like Happy Tree Friends if it was like Sesame Street and not.
Oh, with like kids.
Yeah, no,
They had like
yeah.
real kids on Wonder Show.
I don't know how they got away with that.
I don't know
stuff.
either.
Right,
There's
it's puppets.
There's certain ways you can film things where like it seems like the kids are in the shot, but like then you just like redub the audio or whatever. That's how they got away with saying bad words in Love Actually, because he couldn't really like cuss in front of the kid character, so they would do a take and then the magic of editing.
Well, it's also like The Shining. They didn't even tell that kid he was in a horror movie. He was just
Yeah,
like
like-
driving around.
Could you imagine? Like, oh, it's a fun time. There's these little girls, and oh, look at the final cut.
Again, I don't know how Linda Blair wasn't traumatized with some of the stuff they got her to do for The Exorcist.
Linda Blair, yeah.
Oh man, that movie.
Good movie.
All right. I don't know, what else should we talk about?
Where's Tiblet? It's been a real.
Yeah, where's
I don't know. I
Tiblet?
think she doesn't understand that. Like earlier, like after we had hung up, then she decided she wanted to be my best friend. So I think her timing is off. So
Or on. Maybe she's learning.
I don't know, but she seemed real upset. She missed her friend.
She's plotting.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
maybe-
Yeah, now. Yeah, now like every time I'm on the phone, she wants to meow really loud. It's like, no, I'm trying to talk. It's not cool.
She'll like. Mavis won't let us sleep sometimes, so like one of us will have to sleep on the couch just so Mavis isn't lonely.
Here's a puppy.
Aw.
And sometimes she'll just meow at the bedroom door, but both of us are out here and we're like, what are you doing? Like, there's no
Our
one in.
cats do that too. Like Atticus will just be in the dining room, which is connected to the living room, just meowing and crying on the table, and I'm in the living room. And I'm like, what are you doing, buddy? Like, you could come in here anytime. Or like the door will be like half, open, and he'll just be crying in the bedroom. Like, buddy, you can get out. You're not trapped. Like, what are you doing? Our cats are not very smart.
Our cat doesn't understand physics. She'll like will slump and then like will expect you to catch her, like
Aw.
does not land on 4 feet. She'll just like come up to you and be like,
Well, I don't know. If Travis
Yeah,
is
I think
coming back.
we gave Travis like 20 minutes.
We're just tap dancing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna close it up here in a bit. Anything you want to talk about, Ashley? Let's get the issues out there. What's important? What's going on right now?
Everybody should read To Kill a Mockingbird because we're reading that at my school right now, and it's a really good book. If you haven't read it, you should read it.
And the Spark Notes
it's-
are available online.
Don't read the Spark Notes.
Oh, I gotta
You
I'm just
won't
trying to
pass
help.
my-
I'm trying to help
You
your
won't
kids
pass
with
my you will not pass my quiz if you read the Spark Notes. My kids from last year will tell you.
Well, I figured I was just gonna save it till like I had a paper and then just pretty much write verbatim.
I never did that because I love reading too much. Like, I was definitely, when I was in school, I was that kid who like read the whole book and did a report, and there's like 2 weeks left and my report's just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was only 1 or 2 books I did the Spark Note thing on, and it was either just because I could not get through a book, and I can't even. One of them I think was Night, and it was just this really depressing Holocaust book, and I was just like, nah, I'd rather not. I'm in 8th grade and I don't want to read about this right now. and I SparkNotes that. But then I went back and read it later because after like writing the paper, I'm like, damn, it sounded interesting.
I'm such a nerd that I would read the book and then I would read the notes, like the SparkNotes or whatever, just to make sure that I'm getting all the information or getting
which is what SparkNotes is for. Like if you get confused and it helps, give you better insight or correct your misunderstanding, it's not a replacement for reading. Just like a movie that's based off of a book is not a replacement for reading the book, because that's, the kids are like, oh, there's a movie for this. I'm like, yes, however, and I love the To Kill a Mockingbird movie, but like it's literally like 3/4 of the story is missing because there's such a dense novel. There's a lot of little things that go on that just wouldn't translate well to that medium. And like authors like John Green will tell you, like, a movie is a different medium than a book, and they do the best they can to tell that kind of story. Not everything is going to be a verbatim page for page translation. It doesn't work.
They do. They have some cool books. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I learned from that documentary that Lovecraft coined Necronomicon. I thought that was just like a thing that's been around.
Yeah, because like the idea of a Book of the Dead has been around since like times, but like I don't think anyone coined Necronomicon until.
Yeah, and then it's like so interesting because that word for that type of book has been used like over and over. It's almost like a meme throughout like several people's different works. It's cool.
That was something that was really cool about Lovecraft that I learned, because a lot of people were like, I'm afraid I'm saying Cthulhu incorrectly and blah blah blah, and he would pronounce it the way he said it, but his explanation, like, it was like, because you're supposed to combine it and make like a noise, so it's supposed to be like Cthulhu, like something like that.
You're not supposed to be able to say it.
But you're not supposed to be able to. So he never took offense when somebody mistranslated it, because he's like, that's literally the point I was trying to get across.
It's a name that shouldn't be said.
He really encouraged people to expand his own universe. Like, there was one thing that, like, his first date with his that wife I was talking about, they're walking the beach, and like he comes up with this awesome idea, and his wife's there for it. And instead of him going and adding it to it, he goes and tells her to write a story to add to it. And now, like, people
she got published and everything from her story.
And whenever anybody showed interest in, and another thing I didn't know about Lovecraft was he didn't get his start in books and stuff. He got his start in like pulp horror magazines.
That's what he did his whole life until he died. Yeah,
exactly. They didn't compile books until after he died. But like, starting his first one he sent in, I think he got like $2, $3, and then he slowly started to go up. And like his final thing was like $500, like, because he made a name for himself. I had no idea like he was this big like zine subscriber. You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of novels and stories, that's how they were told. Like, I think Great Expectations and a lot of like other Charles Dickens stuff. Like, it was all like in magazines. It wasn't would be compiled into books later. But that's how people got their literature, because that was just the medium of the time. Like the serialized novel. So yeah, that makes total sense that he would get his start in horror magazines, and that it would start off with low pay, because if you don't have a name for yourself yet, like, nobody's gonna want to pay you more than what's ever the minimum, like, penny per word kind of situation. It's gone up since then, but And
like, it's just like little things too. Like, what did he just leave in his desk? What was it? It was Innskeep, wasn't it? Innsmouth. He never even like showed that anybody. That was just in his desk, and then they found that after he was the harshest critic on himself, but he had a lot of issues, as we learned. But that was on YouTube, 1.5-hour documentary on Lovecraft. It was really cool.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it's very interesting, like the things that authors don't publish, because like a big controversy a couple of years ago involved the author of To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee. They published after her sister had died, because Harper Lee had been like not all there anymore before she passed away, I believe. And so she had like her old manuscript of like what was to become To Kill a Mockingbird. And then once her sister died, like the publisher that owns the rights to Mockingbird, like, oh, we'll publish this as a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird, but it's not a sequel. It was the first draft that wasn't good enough to be published. at the time, and so they kind of marketed it as a sequel and confused a lot of people and got people angry. And like I have several colleagues that refuse to, like, I'm never even going to read that book because like that's just not what she wanted, and she got taken advantage of by her publisher. And it kind of like, because the big thing that people got upset about was the characterization of Atticus Finch, who is like everybody's seen as like this great champion of like civil rights, even though like the novel was set in the 30s before that movement. And then like in that version, he was like a little more racist, I guess, because I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. But people were very upset about that. Go Set a Watchman. And then like half the passages are allegedly like the same thing as To Kill a Mockingbird. Well, it's like, yeah, because that was the pre-writing. Of course it's going to be the same.
You know who didn't like that book? H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, he came back from Riley or whatever, yeah. Came back from the depths of madness to say that he was going to criticize that book.
It was Mountains of Madness too. He almost didn't get published.
You know what? That might have been it. That was Mountains of Madness. It wasn't his mouth.
Did he?
Yeah, this is Atticus.
No.
No, not you. I'm not talking to you, Mavis. I'm the other cat.
Come here, baby. No, she's
And
taking.
it's going to go away.
I wish you could see her. She's so ridiculous.
I saw that one picture where she was like, "Aw." That's adorable.
Crotch shot.
Well, I think we're probably gonna.
Yeah, let me
Finish it
fix
up
this
here.
up and then we'll do our outro.
In the chat, Jason was asking if I liked the story by Edgar Sawtelle. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. That's not ringing any bells.
Yeah, another cool thing was Lovecraft had a lot of pen aliases because some people wouldn't publish his stuff because of his name. Like, they knew who he was, so they're like, oh, I'm not going to do it because you're going to want so much money. So it's just like, fine, I'll just send you this and take a little bit less. Like,
Yeah.
and he ghost wrote for a lot of people, too. It's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm trying to get this back. All right, so I think we're going to kick you out, Ashley. Thanks for killing some time with us.
Oh, no problem.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Halloween. We're not, you know,
Yes.
like, or 28th. October 28th. All right, so we're going to do our
OSP
outro.
Halloween.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Are you doing the closing or am I?
Do you want to do it?
I can.
Okay. You start.
Well, that was an awesome episode of OSP, which stands for Odd Shaped Panel. I didn't know why I just said that. But what an amazing episode of Odd Shaped Panel, everyone. Thank you everyone who could make it tonight. A lot of our usual guys could not make it because they have jobs. Not to say that people who made it don't have jobs. It's just different schedules. I'm not trying to say anything, guys. I'm just trying to say thank you. Thanks. If you want to talk to any of us, you can talk to both of us at Odd Shaped Panel, or if you want to specifically talk to her, it's at
SJ Plus Junkie. I love Muppets. Please tweet me about Muppets and puppets. Thank you, Jim Henson, for everything that you've made. It's truly appreciated and genuinely adored, even now today. Anything else?
Yoda, where can they find you? At Dagobah. That's good to know. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I have literally nothing else to say except we'll see you again October 28th, 9 p.m. It's a Friday, not a Monday, for our costume
Extravaganza.
masquerade. Add another word. Blast.
Blast.
So we've made this outro way too long already. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.